Hey, good afternoon, football fans, and welcome into the Tiger Nation pregame show to get you ready for this Week 7 matchup between the Stewartville Tigers and the Red Wing Wingers. I'm Adam Peterson. Joining me in the Dan Simmons broadcast booth is former head Stewartville football coach Aaron Meyer. One last regular season home game for us, Coach. Got to be pumped for this. Beautiful weather.
Yeah, beautiful weather. Friday night football. The next couple games I don't believe will be on Friday nights, so I just kind of always feel like it's a special night when it's the end of the week and you get to watch a high school football game. So we're ready to go up here.
Yeah, and let's talk about the teams that are out here. You got Red Wing and Stewartville. Like we said, let's talk about Red Wing first. The Wingers coming in 0-6 to this game this season, coming off a Week 6 non-conference loss to Dover Yoda, 27-2 was the final score. Red Wing only able to put together, I think it was less than 10 yards of total offense in that game. You talk about the 6 losses, but half of those were one-score games. Only a touchdown separated the Wingers from PEM and Zumbrota Mazeppa, and then a heartbreaking 1-point loss in Week 4 to Rochester Lure. You're talking about a play here, a series there, and you could be looking at a 3-3 team in Red Wing right now. They will come to Schaefer Field as heavy underdogs. Sometimes in these types of games, you look to experience, and Red Wing at the start of the season had plenty of that. They returned 8 starters on offense, 7 on defense from a year ago, so a core group that had significant varsity experience, Coach. But what we're hearing is that's not the same team we're going to see in Week 7. They are down 13 players. In the last 2 weeks, four two-way starters on this Red Wing team have gotten injured, will not be available tonight, and that includes plenty of their quarterbacks as they are down to third, fourth, fifth string guys at the quarterback position. You'll see Brock Kajewski actually under center for the first time in his varsity career, taking varsity snaps against what is probably the best defense in all of Minnesota for Class 3A, Coach. Tough sledding.
For sure, and we've seen it kind of throughout the season. I think Wasika was on a backup quarterback in Week 1 already. I think PEM was down 5 or 6 starting players last week when we were up here. It's tough, and when you're playing against the Stewartville Tigers, it would certainly be help to have your entire cupboard full to bring them all you got. Speaking of PEM and Pine Island,
sure.
I'm just thinking that Stewartville always gets the other team's best effort, and so we'll see what Red Wing can do despite the injuries to just bring their best tonight and hang in there like PEM did in the first half of last week's game. We'll see what they can do this week.
Yeah, so some guys that I had written down that you may or may not see. Adam Rowe, quarterback. You will not see him tonight. He was a returning post-bulletin all-area honorable mention after accounting for over 500 yards of total offense, 4 touchdowns. He was also a fantastic safety for the Wingers, 2023, 72 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 1 interception. He will not be out there, so that is a big loss for Red Wing. A top-tier player, you heard me talk about him, looking to actually play at the next level in college. Brock Kajewski, a 2023 all-district selection and all-area honorable mention. Last year, 85 tackles, 2 interceptions. He's the team's best linebacker, also caught 4 passes for 115 yards last year. That Kajewski is one of the top tacklers in the entire state, and I believe he's been nominated to go to the Minnesota All-Star game that Caleb Jansen and Aiden Helder played in for Stewartville in 2023. So Kajewski is a name you're going to hear a lot on both sides of the ball. As you heard me say, he's going to be taking snaps for the first time in his varsity career and then definitely making us pay on defense, just a menace at the linebacker position. Some other names you will hear tonight. Hunter Greeley is a name. Keegan Knudsen. Aiden Diaz is on the line. He's a pretty good defensive player. Red Wing runs a 3-4 defense, some solid linebackers. Offense, a little bit more confusing when you watch them coming up in a few minutes. At times, they look like Cass Mandeville running a double wing. Other times, they'll go spread with 4 wide. Thoughts on if you've seen any tape from Red Wing? Their defense looks pretty standard, 3-4. They like to blitz because they have those 4 linebackers. But on offense, one series, you might see that double wing Cass Mandeville look, and then all of a sudden, they'll split all of them out and let the quarterback throw. I think tonight, with Kajewski taking his first snaps, is probably which plays is he most comfortable at.
Yeah, you got to kind of mold your offense around your players, and I would agree with that. I could see, one of their better plays that I've seen in the 2 or 3 games that I've been able to watch was the quarterback follow, and I imagine that might be one of their best tonight with him at the QB spot. So we'll see how it goes. They've had flashes.
Yeah.
They played Pine Island and scored on the first drive of the game. Looked real nice all the way down the field.
And that's a good defense.
And that's a very good defense. So, I mean, as you mentioned, a couple one-score games. they're just going to have to figure out how they think they can move the ball against the Stewartville Tigers and certainly just stick with it, have a game plan going in, and pound away and see what you can do.
Yeah, one thing that they've done really well this year is their ability to take care of the ball. Last week was probably a little bit of an exception, but if they can limit the number of turnovers, that's the last thing you want to do is give this Stewartville offense any extra possessions. So if they can take care of the ball, maybe find some of that success that they've seen in the first 6 weeks and put it all together. Like you said, most visiting teams are giving Stewartville their best shot. Speaking of the Stewartville Tigers, we gave you a full breakdown of their first 5 weeks in the pregame show last week calling the PM game. But in week 6, we got to witness firsthand here in the Dan Simmons broadcast booth another impressive showing by Coach Garrett Muller's team. They rolled to a 47 win against a gritty PEM Bulldog team. It was tough sledding through the first quarter, only ahead 6-0 on a Malik Abdi 64-yard touchdown run, but then the Tigers took off 2 touchdowns in the second quarter, 3 in the third, including an electric Dylan Hood punt return for a touchdown, and it was all in the bag at that point. Like I said, 47-0 was the final score. The Gold Rush defense has been an absolute brick wall this season, only allowing PM rushing attack 72 yards on the ground on 39 carries, and that's a team, the Bulldogs, that's gone over 300 yards rushing in games several times this year. A total of 133 yards was all the Bulldogs could muster in total, and the donuts stayed on the board for Alex Haynes' defense. Our linebackers just tackling machines on the Schaefer field last week. Zeke Spencer, 7 tackles. Justice Dino with 6. Grayson Schneider, I thought he was excellent, blowing up plays in the backfield all night long. Schneider finished with 6 tackles, a sack, and several tackles for loss. Lincoln Doobie continues his hot senior season with another 2 sacks, bringing his season total up to 5. On the other side of the ball, the offense racked up almost 500 yards of total offense. 495 to be exact, 344 yards rushing on 27 carries, 151 yards through the air. Dylan Scanlon had 7 carries for 101 yards and a touchdown. Malik Abdi has been just a breakthrough player for us this year as just a junior. 8 carries, 96 yards and 2 touchdowns. Parker Wangen, 3 total touchdowns on the back of 74 yards rushing and 106 yards receiving, and he became the school's all-time career scoring record holder after passing the talented running back Josh Burai. Quarterback Vince Wellick, second straight week of near perfect completions. He was 10 for 11 for 135 yards, 1 touchdown. Not just offense and defense, though. Special teams contributed on that Dylan Hoop punt return touchdown and some stellar kickoff coverage with some big hits. Coach, this Stewartville team has been a freight train, rolling through teams lately, outscoring their last 2 opponents 104-7. I would imagine you're going to see more of the same as they seem to be hitting their stride in weeks 5, 6, and now they're coming their final regular season game at home in here in week 7 against Red Wing.
And I feel like every week they've had a little bit of a dry spell, especially offensively, where they maybe just don't have things clicking. But the best thing is it never lasts for very long, and all of a sudden they'll get it going, and pretty soon there's 30, 40 points on the board within sometimes a quarter. It's an impressive bunch. They just keep getting a little bit better every week. And like you said, it's all 3 phases. It's defense, it's special teams, and certainly the offense. We've seen them kind of clicking here lately. So, yeah, I'm excited. I know that Coach is excited, and it'll be a good night here if they can just play 4 quarters of good, solid football.
You talk about the 3 phases. Let's break them down individually. First, Coach, let's talk about offense. Over 1,400 yards on the ground rushing, while just 700 yards through the air. We have went over 200 yards rushing in 5 of our first 6 games this season. Over 300 yards, like you heard me say last week. 2 great running backs, incredible offensive line there. Would you have ever guessed that a Garrett Muller-led offense would be running the ball so much and so effectively on Schaefer Field here?
Well, I think what Coach does best is what we just talked about that Red Wing needs to do tonight, and that is to fit your offense with the players that you have. Mm-hmm. And he's just so good at that, and he knows when he has Dylan Scanlon, when he has Malik Abdi, you got to find ways to get him the ball and find space for those guys. And he's just so good at scheming up what he wants out of an offense. So, I mean, I know what you're saying with he loves to throw the ball, and he's darn good at drawing up pass plays. And I know as a former wide receiver for our favorite university, UW-La Crosse, he wants to be chucking that ball around. But at the same time, he also knows what he's got to do, and that's get the ball to his athletes in space. So, it's you know, and to be honest, not to go on too long here, but I also feel like I've seen it when he's been my offensive coordinator, and he had to get the ball to Jordan Johnson and Brandon Hoth, and it was like, hey, these are the guys that we need toting the ball. And he just did a tremendous job of getting them the ball when it was time to. So, yeah, he's just darn good at calling plays.
Yeah, you mentioned those two outstanding running backs, Dylan Scanlon, Malik Abdi. Give credit to the big cats up front. You got Hatz, Lunas, Riggin, Doobie, and Potts up on the front line, but then some of the best blocking wide receivers and tight ends in the area. You're talking about Wong and Klug, Bancroft, our H-back in either Mickey Height or Dylan Hoot. It's just really fun to watch. Defense, Coach, it's a broken record. We got donuts. We got less than 100 yards given up. I have to get your take. Is this Gold Rush defense as good or better than last year's number one state-ranked defense?
Oh wow, that is a tough question.
Tough one.
I don't know if I could. I don't know if I can answer that. I would love to hear Coach Haynes' response to that, and Coach Muller's thoughts on that. But geez, there just doesn't seem to be a weak spot out there. So if they're not better, they're just as good. I'll just say that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a political way of saying it. That's what I probably went with. Really tough because it's, there's some similarities, but also some strengths in
Right.
different areas, but that's okay. Special teams, Coach May had to feel the weight lifted off his shoulders last week. Dylan Hoot housed the punt after coming close so many times. We saw the effort on kickoff coverage last week against the Bulldogs. Many players outside this football program here in Stewartville may look at special teams as a knock on what they can contribute to the team. But this Stewartville Tigers special teams unit takes a lot of pride in setting the tone, Coach, and making a huge impact. You were the first to comment on the effort on our kickoff coverage last week. Our special teams, probably the best in the district, that third phase that's really contributing to the success of this number one state-ranked Stewartville Tiger team.
Yeah, hands down. Some of these guys, that's what they do. They're special teams guys, and when they get their chance to shine, man, they go full speed. And then other guys just love it. We've seen Zeke Spencer running down on kickoff team and just, just laying his body out every single time and making plays. They just love it. And I think you got to give credit to Coach May and the coaching staff for kind of instilling that in the players. But at the same time, these guys, I just feel like anytime they get a chance to perform under the lights, they just have that adrenaline and that excitement that just kind of feeds into all phases of the game. So, yeah, the special teams is incredible.
And here you see the Stewartville Tigers for one final time, at least in the regular season. We should be guaranteed some playoff action here on Schaefer Field, but you see them at the center of the field. It is senior night, so obviously we will try to run down the seniors on this roster at some point, likely in the second half if we have time. And we will pay some homage to what they've delivered to this program. You're talking about a team that's attempting to go for their fourth straight regular season undefeated, and tonight will be the last test, at least at home, against this Red Winger team. We are going to step aside as they are going to do the national anthem. You'll hear the audio muted, but Coach Meyer and I will be back in just a few minutes to bring you this Week 7 Southeast Red District matchup between the Stewartville Tigers and the Red Wing Wingers. Good evening, football fans, and welcome to Schaefer Field, the home for tonight's final regular season home game for our #1 state-ranked Stewartville Tigers, as we will welcome the Wingers of Red Wing into town. I'm Adam Peterson, and we are live from the Dan Simmons broadcast booth. And when I say we, alongside me, as has he's been all the last 3 seasons, actually, the best color commentator in the business, Coach Aaron Meyer. Coach, regular season coming to an end, but we get one more game to call here before playoffs start.
Yep, you can't beat it. I remember it wasn't that long ago, and we were staring straight into the sun as the kickoff was about to happen, and now this is the time of the year when it's just the best. It's already dark. It's a chill in the air, and high school football on a Friday night, you can't beat it.
This game here features 2 teams on completely opposite ends of the spectrum. The Stewartville Tigers are 6-0. They are the defending state champions in Minnesota Class 3A, ranked #1 in the state. They have won 20 games in a row and on a 31-game win streak in the regular season. On the other side, success on the gridiron has been chasing Red Wing, but the Wingers, unfortunately, seem to be faster. Red Wing is 0-6 this year on a 14-game losing streak, and they've only won 4 games since 2016. But this is high school football, and as you know, Coach, anything can happen when you step on the football field.
Yeah, it's I've been a part of many games where we were either huge underdogs and hung in there and maybe sprung an upset, and I've been on the other side where the other team was probably a huge underdog and hung in there. You never know, and so we'll see what happens tonight, but with Red Wings struggling with injuries and Stewartville comes in pretty darn healthy, I think. They're feeling real good. It's going to be a tough road to hoe here for the Red Wing Wingers.
Yeah, you talk about the Wingers' injury problems, and the most glaring spot is at quarterback. Adam Rowe, captain, 2023 honorable mention, Post Bulletin All-Area member, also an outstanding safety. He's out. Then they went to Calvin Nelson, who's actually done quite well in his limited times, 32 of 46 this season for 371 yards and 3 touchdowns for 115 quarterback rating. He seems to be out. We'll get an answer on the next drive as Stewartville is going to be receiving the kickoff. Parker Wangen and Dylan Hoot are back deep to receive for the Tigers. As we're here, Schaefer Field, week 4, Wingers versus Stewartville, and it's going to kick off, no pun intended there, Hunter Greeley with a good leg is going to be the one doing the kicking for Red Wing. He's going to squib it up close, and you're going to see baby powder. Zeke Spencer grabs that one, goes to the middle, and he's going to fall down. Speaking of the middle, right at the 50-yard line. You'll see a bunch of white powder coming into the screen. That's what happens sometimes here, I think just on cancer night, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it might be.
They do the baby powder. I remember last year or the year before, Carter Miller actually housed the opening kickoff, and we didn't see half of it because the powder was all in our way. This is all clearing up, so you're going to see an outstanding offense, one that's put up over 100 points combined over the last 2 weeks. Vince Wellick at quarterback. Dylan Scanlon, who went over 100 yards last week, is at running back. You got Jace Klug on the near side, Parker Wangen on the far side. I believe that's Dylan Hoot in the H-back position. As we see often with the Stewartville Tigers, they're going to do a pre-snap change of their formation. Here comes Scanlon in motion. They're going to pitch that one on a counter to Wangen, and Wangen breaks loose. He's going to try to beat number 4 in a foot race. He cuts it back. Dylan Hoot sets a block. Parker Wangen on the first play of the game takes it to the house, baby, and that's how you start on cancer night. 50 yards for Parker Wangen, the school's all-time career record holder, puts another 6 on his back.
Well, how about that? We had a hard time seeing that. For those that are at home, Adam was literally down on his knees trying to see under the powder as he called that play, but making everybody look like they're going left. Parker Wangen kind of on a counter, little pitch, inside pitch almost, and takes it to the house, showing his athleticism early, and Red Wing just saw the speed of the Stewartville Tigers.
So they set up in that awkward formation and then come back to the regular spot. Jace Klug to hole, Parker Wangen. It's a snap to Wangen. Wangen's going to throw it to the end zone, and that goes through. Grayson Schneider was wide open, but it looked like Wangen was trying to hit number 44. I don't even have that number on the roster. I wonder if one of our guys switched jerseys to make sure they were eligible.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
One of the seniors. Maybe it's not only Tackle Cancer Night, it's also Senior Night. And hopefully we'll be able to highlight those guys. 6-0 Stewartville, 15 seconds into the game, Coach, on a Parker Wong, and I believe that counts as a reception.
Yeah.
Is that the easiest 50-yard touchdown pass Vince Wellick will ever throw?
I think so. Why not? A 1-yard little pitch forward, and it counts for a, what was it, 60-yard touchdown? 50-yard touchdown.
Yeah, both
Perfect.
of us having trouble in math up here.
Yeah, well,
last week
that's
me.
all right. No worries.
What a play. Parker Wong and 50 yards out, one play, 6 points. Unfortunately, the 2-point conversion, they went with a little trickery, as we've seen almost every game this season. It's not anything special. They like to put in these 2-point plays, and a lot of times the players are the ones that are submitting them.
That's what I hear. If that's the case, I think it's a really cool thing, and why not? You gotta you score so many points that you got to keep things fresh.
I just want one time for Leslie Kuhner to line up in the backfield and just run that thing in. I think this place would absolutely erupt.
Senior night.
Yeah, could happen.
Let's hope.
So you hear the music in the background. That signifies that Stewartville will be kicking off, and the guy that just ran 50 yards in the blink of an eye, Parker Wangen, will be doing the kicking for us, as he's Mr. Everything for us. Reminds you a little bit of Owen Sickink. I used to call him the whole kitchen Sickink, because on offense he did everything. Caught the ball, ran the ball well, picked up blitzes, great leader on the team. Well, Parker Wangen, offense, defense, special teams, you're probably not going to find a player in the Southeast District that does more, as Wangen's going to boot this one deep, and that one's going to go through the end zone. And here comes the sprint to see who gets to the end zone first, and it's going to be Zeke Spencer. He just outruns 34 Eli shy. I think Eli started to pull up at the 10-yard line. Zeke says, I'm going to take this win. We're going to recognize that kind of effort, as you're going to see for the first time tonight, the Gold Rush. It looks like Brock Kajewski is going to be the quarterback for Red Wing. He usually lines up at tight end. Actually, I think he's in the top 10, if I'm not mistaken, for receptions this year. 14 receptions, 141 yards for 10.1 yards a catch, but he'll be in the backfield now. He's got two wide receivers on the far side, one on the near side. Kajewski's going to throw the first one, and there's Lincoln Doobie! Smashes him down inside the 10-yard line, and he's our leading sack guy of the season. That's number 6, I believe, for Lincoln Doobie.
Well, he is an intense young man, and on the first play of the defensive play of the game, he's going to be fresh and just frothing at the mouth there as he gets a sack right away. He had Kajewski had no time there on just a little dump passes, looked like what they were setting up. So that offensive line is going to have to hold up a little better than that to give him a chance.
So I would imagine Red Wing, if they're going to throw the ball, they're going to have to pivot to some quicker throws. Like sometimes they'll do those bubble screens out to the wide receiver. They're going to hand this one off. It's fumbled. Rich Hatz tries to get it. Grayson Schneider tackles the quarterback, but the running back looks like he jumped back on it for a loss of, I don't know, maybe 3 yards, as they are at the 7 now. And it's going to be 3rd down, and I'm not even going to do the math. I would say 23 is my guess. Yeah, because it has to go to the 30, and it looks like they're at the 7. So Grayson Schneider coming in, Ridge Hats. You're seeing the big cats up front already making an impact. The last one on that front line, Caleb Bancroft, another guy that you want to run away from on the right end position. So Kajewski in the backfield. We'll see what he does here on the 3rd down and long play. He's going to roll to the right, use his athleticism, throw it down the middle of the field. And Jace Klug was coming over from the safety position, and Luke Eastman was on the coverage. Nobody to really throw it to, so I believe Red Wing will punt this one away, Coach.
Well, I liked how the Red Wing decided to get him out of the pocket there, where he's not a sitting duck, and he could use some of his athleticism, and certainly he just threw a laser about 35, 40 yards down the field. So we know the young man has some athleticism and some talent back there.
So Hunter Greeley is their punter. Last week hit some absolute boomers. So I don't know if Hoot is, if he gets a hold of it, is Hoot standing at the correct yard line? Usually Coach May does a pretty good job of finding that average in the air, and we'll see where he puts it. They're going to kick that one more towards the sideline, but Hoot has shown an affinity to pick these up and run them if he wants, and he does. He picks it up, he cuts it back, but he stepped out of bounds. The ref is right on top of that. You want to talk about refs that are good guys. This guy, this ref on the sideline, he umpires a lot of our younger girls softball games. Just a tremendous dude. Very nice to the girls, very entertaining, and keeps a light heart about it. Like to see that, and appreciate the officials being out here tonight. So Stewartville will start their second drive, up 6-0 on the Red Wing 30-yard line after a 10-yard return by Dylan Hoot. Vince Wellick in the backfield. He's joined by Dylan Scanlon. Trips right. You got Jace Klug all alone on the left side. Scanlon goes out in motion to the far side. Wellick is going to throw this one out to Dylan Hoot. He's got Scanlon blocking the cornerback. Great tackle there by Kajewski, one of the top tacklers in the state by number 5. Not only quarterback, he's going to be pulling double duty at linebacker. Got it. Going to be tired probably towards the end of the night, Coach.
Yeah, and a good throw right there by Vince Wellick, just in rhythm. Throws a nice little out pass, and I always like just seeing him get his first completion under his belt so he feels comfortable the rest of the night. That's awesome.
Last 2 games, only 2 incomplete passes. Missed 1 against Lake City, missed 1 last week against PEM, so very efficient distributing the ball to our playmakers. We got Wangen and Jace Klug on the near side. You got Hoot and Scanlon's going out into the flat. Now he runs a wheel route, and he just ran right by him. Scanlon catches that one in stride. Kajewski tries to bring him down, but no. Scanlon is going to take that one from 23 yards out for another Stewartville touchdown, and the Tigers lead 12-0. Boy, he came out in the flat. They bid on it. He just rounded it out on a wheel route, Coach, and Vince Wellick put a beautiful ball.
Yeah, one of Coach Muller's favorite little plays to call at the right time always, it feels like, but the old halfback wheel or superback wheel, and there it was. Kajewski was doing his best to hang with Scanlon, but that's a tough guy to hang with when you're talking about one of the best sprinters in the conference.
New formation here. Wangen is at the quarterback position. Schneider behind him. He's going to snap it. They're going to run an option, and Schneider's just going to try to take this one. And he just runs through the guy. He doesn't even try to juke him. Just hit stick.
Why not? Looking for contact.
Grayson Schneider on senior night finds his way into the end zone. This one worth 2 points as the Tigers now lead 14-0, 9:23 into the first quarter. And we will see Wangen come to kick this one off. I would assume that on senior night, Coach Muller is going to try to spread the love to as many guys as he can. You talk about the love. Parker Wangen, first touchdown, senior. Then you got Dylan Scanlon, senior on the wheel route. Then you got Grayson Schneider, 2-point conversion. I would almost bet my down under wings that Jace Klug will find his way to the end zone at some point, too.
I thought you were going to say that Leslie Kunder was going to get the option pitch on the.
If he does that, I'll mute my microphone because I will blow the speakers. That would be fantastic.
Well, yeah, I know Coach is always going to be first thinking about scoring points and winning the game, but he will definitely have certain plays highlighted on his play sheet that he knows will go to some seniors tonight, and that's a great way to do it. Take care of job one first, and if you can do it while highlighting some seniors along the way, why not?
How many seniors do you think are on this team? I just had to count. That's why you're hearing me be all quiet. Number 4, Keegan Knutson's going to return this one. He caught it at his own 5-yard line, and he actually gets a pretty good return to the 22. He's brought down by, I'll get you a number here. I thought it was 25 that tackled him, which would be Peyton English. He's getting a lot of high fives, so I would say that's the case, 25. How many seniors? You probably already looked it up.
I didn't look it up, but I'm going to say 22.
18 is 18, the number. Yeah, okay, 18, which is a pretty solid core.
Yep.
And a lot of them you see out here. I mean, just our front line alone, the big cats up front, those are all seniors. You got Justice Dino at linebacker. He's a senior. You got Jace Klug and Dylan Hoot, both safeties, seniors. Isaac Larson on the far side, our shutdown corner, senior. 2 wide out to the far side. Kajewski's going to hand that one off, or he thought he was going to. And Ridge Hats, whose Montana grandparents are in attendance tonight, says, Grandma, Grandpa, this one's for you.
Well, he just busted through there. This defensive line just looks ferocious tonight, and they've already kind of just shown that they've introduced themselves to the Red Wing offensive line early and often here. Joey
Strike says, with this defensive front, I don't know if the back 7 are even going to need to play most games. Yeah. But we've seen our linebackers, they've been trying to double and triple Grayson Schneider, which has led to Justice Dino and Zeke Spencer having big games. Well, tonight so far, the front 4 has been doing their job as they've gotten a huge push. Kajewski rolling to the left. Bancroft sets a great edge, and Lincoln Doobie destroys Kajewski on the far side. As Doobie has come out, he's an animal. His motor revs up every single play, Coach. That's why he's one of my favorites.
Yeah, he's just relentless with what he does. He's got wrestler mentality where he's just going to keep going and going and going until he gets the job done, and we saw it on that play for sure. I always joke, I don't know which Doobie's my favorite, Matilda or Lincoln. They're both fantastic. Just flip a coin.
I don't know if you've had either of them in class or both.
Yeah, I've had them both, and I do enjoy having them both. That's I can't tell you who I like the most. I'm going to stay
Kajewski's
politically
going to run
correct
this
tonight.
one. And there's Justice Dino with his first tackle of the night, and he's going to stop him well short of the first down, as it's going to be 4th down, and I would say 8 is my guess. We'll see where Slim Elton ends up with that down marker. Looks like 4th and 7 as Red Wing brings Greeley out to punt. Dylan Hoot standing at his own 50-yard line. Maybe Coach won't have to throw Hoot a pass tonight to get him in the end zone. Maybe Hoot will make his own electricity happen here.
I think that's a good
Greeley,
call.
high snap. They're going to block it. Oh, my gosh. He tackles the Schneider tackles the punter. However, because I think nope, they did throw a flag. I was going to say, if they tipped it, if they blocked it, I believe you can still make contact.
Yep.
And so that's going to be definitely a roughing the passer, or roughing the punter, the kicker. They brought the house on that one, Coach.
They were going for it, and I always feel like that's a great play when you're down inside the 20, and if you do happen to get your hands on the ball, you know you're either going to scoop and score it, or you're going to set the offense up in just a beautiful, with beautiful field position. So a good job. One thing I will say, in watching the Pine Island Red Wing game and the Plainview Elgin Millville Red Wing game, I was surprised at the depth of the punter and the depth of the field goal unit, extra point unit, when it just wasn't as far as I would say typically you do. So I just don't know if that's something that they're just trying to work through. But yeah, definitely a chance to block some punts tonight if they decide to go that route.
And if you were going to block a punt, that was the one to do it on, because it was a high snap. Greeley had to jump to get it, messed up his footwork. And he give him credit, though. Greeley did get it off, and to his credit, because he got the punt away, we got the 15-yard penalty on Stewartville, and so it gives Red Wing a new set of downs, the ball right at the 40-yard line. You know that referees do that on purpose so that they know right where the first down is going to be. Kajewski in the backfield. On the near side's number 4, Knutson. On the far side, I don't have the number. Oh, my gosh! Lincoln Doobie and Rich Hats just shot through that line like a cannon. Well, oh, my goodness. I don't even know what to say, Coach.
Yeah, it looks like they're not even being slowed down here. So Red Wing's going to have to talk to the offensive line and just have them. I mean, I would have them chop block at this point, where you're just trying to take
just make a pile?
Yeah, just get at their shins and try to at least make them hurdle you, because they're not slowing them down at anything right now. So
2nd down and about 14 with that big loss by Doobie and Hats shooting through the middle. We got 2 guys to the near side. It's going to be Knutson and Greeley. Kajewski takes the snap, rolls to the right. He's an athletic guy. He cuts it back. He's a pretty good runner in the open field. Justice Dino does get a hand on him, but great run there by Kajewski. Picked up about 13 yards. I think he's going to be about a yard short, 3rd down and 1. But, wow, we're seeing the athleticism of Kajewski coming out of the backfield. That may be their ticket, Coach. You talked about the quarterback follow, getting him out of the pocket, giving him the option to either pass or tuck it and run like you saw right there.
Well, and even the long pass that was incomplete down the near sideline here, I mean, it looked like a good play. So I just feel like they got to keep him moving, let him have a little time to figure out what to do with the ball. And then you're going to have the cat and mouse game where Stewartville's going to start sending front side pressure, but they do need to make some adjustments and do something like that.
Isaac Wiles in the backfield with Kajewski. Greeley is out on the near side. I believe could be Knutson. They're sideways, so it's hard to see the number. It's a handoff to the outside. We're going to see where they spot this ball. Dylan Hoot tracked him down. They're going to say 4th down, just short, about a half yard, and I would imagine Red Wing's going for this, Coach. And if I know Red Wing, a lot of 4th down and short plays that I've seen on film, they just get up under center, snap it, and go. However, Ridge Hats and Lincoln Doobie are right there, and I would imagine Zeke Spencer's going to be shooting the A-gap.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens here, but I do think that's probably your best bet. Just if you can't get a yard doing it that way, it's going to be a long night.
So, as we thought,
Yep.
Red Wing is going to go for this. Kajewski is under center. He's already leaning forward a little bit. I'd imagine they're either going to try to draw him off with a hard count, which they did. Good discipline there by Red Wing. Great. You talk about that cat and mouse game, Coach. Yep. You saw it right there. So now 2 first downs for Red Wing as Kajewski's run put him in an amazing spot. to be in this position. And they move now to the 45-yard line on Stewartville's side.
Yep, and hats off to Red Wing for taking advantage of the roughing the punter call. That's what a good team does, is they take what the opponent gives them and then build on it, and that's certainly what they're doing here with a couple first downs.
Knutson on the far side with Greeley. You got Kajewski and Wiles in the backfield. They're going to snap that one, give it to Wiles. Wiles trying to get to the edge, but Stewartville speed. There's Grayson Schneider, and a big hit from Luke Eastman coming from his cornerback position as he stops him right at the 40. They call the fumble, coach! And out of the pile comes Justice Dino with the ball well above his head, and the turnover chain is coming out. That surprised me, coach. I wonder if Luke Eastman's hit jarred the ball loose, because he came flying up from that defensive back position and stuck him.
Well, that must have been what happened. It was hard for us to see because the players were standing right there, but I do know that Luke Eastman does like to hit, and there you got the chance to do it. And certainly if there's a loose ball on the ground, we know that Justice Dino is going to go after it like an angry dog, so he came out with it.
Wangen and Hoot on the far side, Bancroft and Klug on the near side, just one running back in the backfield. That is Scanlon on senior night. He goes out to the right side, so now we got 3 wide receivers to the right, empty backfield. They're going to fake that. It's a little Y screen, middle screen to Jace Klug, but give all sorts of credit. Is that Greeley there? It is. What a great read by Greeley, and used his speed to follow Klug and take him down for no gain. We saw that go to the house last week on a 3rd down and 14, was it? Or it was a long play, but 50-yard touchdown got called back on a hold. And right there, Greeley read it, made the tackle. Second down and 10.
Lucky he did, because the offensive line was downfield blocking. I think there was a lot of room to run there if he would have gotten through past that one.
Here comes Scanlon in motion. Fake the jet sweep. They're going to throw a screen here to the middle. That one's to Caleb Bancroft, and he's got Lunas out in front of him blocking. Oh, he gets tripped up by Greeley at the 30-yard line. He's 6'7", so he falls forward about 3 yards, and he makes it down to the 26-yard line. Boy, Lunas was out there blocking, and everybody's looking like, who's he going to hit? I think that was Lunas.
Yeah, he was moving downfield, and Bancroft just barely got tripped up. You could just see his disappointment as he went down and couldn't quite keep his balance.
Now Grayson Schneider in the backfield at running back. Malik Abdi being a junior, I believe, is kind of giving way to senior night and allowing as many seniors to play. Speaking of which, Isaac Larson sees his first action at wide receiver now. Ridge Hats goes over to the right side, so it's power right, trips right, bunch. And if you get Grayson Schneider out in the open field, I imagine he's going to the right behind all those blockers, and he does. Stretch play. He's going to get to the side, and he's probably going to just try to run somebody over. Turns, spins back, does not get taken down, but he does pick up 15 yards on the carry. And we are at about the 10-yard line. Stewartville up 14-0, 3:05 to go in the first quarter. First play of the game, a 50-yard touchdown catch by Parker Wangen. That made it 6-0 after a 2-point conversion was no good. Then a 23-yard touchdown pass to Dylan Scanlon on a wheel route. 2-point conversion to Grayson Schneider was good. That's what made it 14-0, and that's where we sit right now. Stewartville has the ball. If you're just joining us, Red Wing fumbled on the Stewartville 45-yard line, and Stewartville is driving, trying to put their 3rd touchdown on the board in just the first quarter. A lot of seniors playing tonight. Like we said, 18 of them on the roster, and you're seeing plenty of them filter through. Wellick, the junior, in the backfield. High snap. Wellick just jumps on that one, and probably a smart play as it was only first down. Take your medicine, coach, 2nd down and long, and we'll try to, we got 3 downs to pick this up.
Absolutely, and a good job by Vince to just do that, knowing that they've been successful. They got big play athletes. Why not just get on it and let Coach Muller call the next one? See if they can capitalize.
Yeah, especially with some of these screen passes are working. You see the potential. What we have here now, Sawyer Wood, as they're rotating plenty of seniors out in the field, Sawyer Wood is coming on at the wide receiver position. So your skill guys on the near side trips, it's Wangen, Hoot, and Wood. In the backfield, Scanlon alongside Wellick. Wellick is going to pass this one. He's going to throw that one deep to Sawyer Wood, who has to come back for it. Greeley was right in his hip pocket. And that one's incomplete. Just a little bit underthrown, and Vince Wellick taps his chest, and I think he knows he needed to put a little bit more distance on that one so Sawyer Wood could run underneath it. So it's going to be 3rd down and about 24. The Tigers will have to at least cut this in half, Coach. The other thing is even if you get to the 25, Wangen's leg, we've seen him especially against, what was it, Wasika, the one
Yeah.
that was probably good from 50?
I think he's hit a few 35-yarders this year, and geez, his last kickoff was booming, so his leg must be feeling pretty good tonight.
So Jace Klug all alone on the near side, Wangen on the far side. He now shifts everybody. Potts is coming over to the left side to join Ridge Hats. It's going to be trips left with Scanlon in the backfield. I imagine Scanlon's getting the ball because he could break a 24-yarder if he wants. Oh, makes the guy miss. He's got Doobie out in front of him. He's got the big cats. He cuts it across the field, and he's going to get tackled inside the 15-yard line. I believe they're going to mark him down at the 14. So it's going to be 4th down and 10. And we'll see what coach does. It looks like they're going to go for the field goal because Zeke Spencer's going out there, who's our long snapper. Grayson Schneider is grabbing the kicking tee for Jace Klug, and Parker Wangen's going to set it down. So you talk about Stewartville's all-time career scoring leader.
Yep.
Does it in a multitude of ways, receiving, rushing, extra points, and now you'll see his shot at a field goal. This one from 32 yards away. Snap is good. Hold is good. Oh, my gosh, end over end. He's got another 15, 20 yards on that, Coach.
Oh, that's impressive. I don't think people understand that it's hard to kick that ball through through the uprights, and he just makes it look so easy.
32-yard field goal by Wangen with 1:23 to go makes it 17-0 Stewartville here in the first quarter. Red Wing will be coming out. They established a little bit of a drive that last time they had the ball. Unfortunately, it ended with a turnover. We talked about it in the pregame show, Coach, that you want to limit the number of opportunities Stewartville's offense has. And Red Wing was doing it there. They took advantage of the running into the kicker. They put together a couple first downs, but then they turned it over.
Yeah, and they're going to have to kind of just lean on the positives from that last drive and kind of flush that bad one, the turnover. You got to try to stay positive in games like this. I know it's so hard to do, but getting down and things can just fester and people start getting ornery and pointing at each other. The coaching staff from Red Wing's going to have to just fight that all night. Just stay positive. Remind these kids that they're getting better, and you never know what can happen, so keep the positivity as best you can.
And I know that first down on that last particular drive that stalled out, the first down with the snap went back, put us into 2nd and 24, but give the defense credit. Greeley came back and was in Sawyer Wood's hip pocket. They were able to tackle Scanlon 10, 12 yards short of a first down, so they're still competing out there. So got to give credit to these Red Wing players who know they're shorthanded, know they're missing some of their best players, but still out there competing. Knutson is back deep. He's going to catch this one inside his 5-yard line and choose to return it, and all sorts of Tigers coming downhill trying to suffocate Knutson, and he is brought down right at the 12-yard line of Red Wing. So deep in their own territory is where they'll start this drive. I would imagine I wonder if they'll go to that double wing yet, or if they're just going to feel good with the spreading the wide receivers out, one running back, letting Kajewski kind of move around.
Yeah, I liked what you said at the beginning of the game, where they're going to have to just see what what he does best. The double wing option offense, I feel like that's something that, that takes a whole summer and sometimes years to actually get really good at. So for him to, try to figure that out in a week is going to be brutally tough, and against this defense just makes it even more challenging.
So Kajewski under center, I formation now. They're going to pitch that one out to the side. I believe that's Greeley, and here comes Luke Eastman. He throws him out of bounds with authority. And he picks up just one. Tough to see with this angle, but great job in the pursuit by Luke Eastman coming over to make that tackle on Greeley. And it'll be 2nd down and 9. We're seeing a lot of Tigers fly into the ball, Coach.
Yeah, Luke Eastman is not a big kid. I know him as one of my finest hurdlers, and but he's fearless. End of last year, just to show you how fearless he is, he decided he wanted to try pole vault. Turns out he's pretty darn good at it, but for anybody that's just willing to run full speed and stab a pole into the ground and fly over a bar is crazy to me.
The snap was a little bit bobbled, and now I think Kajewski's just trying to make something to nothing. Justice Dino came on. All sorts of players. Mickey Height there with his flashy shoes. I could see him, not his number, but his shoes. And so a whole bunch of Tigers are going to get credit for that tackle. A bunch of .1 tackles on their stat sheet.
There we go. Split it up.
Yeah.
Well, you got to give Stewartville credit because they can feel already in this game. I can promise you, the players can already feel that they're in control of this football game, and yet they continue to just play how they play. They don't drop anything. They just always feel like they have to play up, show Red Wing how good they actually are, and that's when you see them flying to the football, punching the ball out, doing all the little things, and that's why Stewartville has won. Yeah, I heard a stat. I have lunch duty with Coach Muller. If you take the Stewartville team, the varsity team, and the JV team, they have won 50 regular season games in a row.
Oh, my goodness.
Combined now over the last 3 seasons.
You saw the sticks move, a new set of downs, and that was due to a personal foul, hands to the face penalty. They didn't give a number. They don't, and Greeley's trying to cut it outside, and there's Luke Eastman making him cut back. He just throws him to the ground and then trips over Justice Dino, and goodness gracious, another flag comes out. I wonder if something was said, because it didn't look like anything egregious, at least to the eye. Unfortunately, last week, that 47 personal foul. Oh, horse collar they're going to call.
Yeah.
So I missed that. It happens. So another 15 yards as Red Wing now has gotten 30 yards of penalties. And I talked about what marred last week's 47-0 win over PEM, and 100% it was the number of penalties we had, and unfortunately plenty of them were unsportsmanlike conduct. One of them, I'll give a pass to one of our running backs who, as he was crossing the goal line, held his hands up in celebration. Apparently in high school football, you can't raise the football above your shoulders before you cross the end zone, so he got a flag. I didn't even know that, so I'll give him a pass there. Hand off to Greeley up the middle, and there is nowhere to go as Grayson Schneider came from his defensive end position and shut that down awfully quick. And it's going to be 2nd down and 10. No gain on that play. Grayson Schneider does a good job from his defensive end position, coach, kind of when he sees it going middle, just cuts straight down the line.
Yeah, and a lot of times that means he's unblocked. The offensive lineman in front of him goes away, and then it's a cue for Grayson to run flat down the line of scrimmage. And certainly a D1 football player who's got that figured out is really hard to stop. And so even if you're running away from him, he runs down plays better than most defensive ends that I've ever seen. He's so good at it.
And that's going to be the end of the first quarter as the Stewartville Tigers lead 17-0 over Red Wing. Red Wing, it's going to be 2nd down and 10 from their own 41-yard line. Something I did just notice, Ridge hats came off, and now they've moved Grayson Schneider onto the defensive tackle position and brought out Carson Jansen. When you talk about Carson Jansen as a senior, you got to go back to that Waseca game, coach. I believe it was the Waseca game where he intercepted it. It completely turned the tide in terms of momentum. We scored 24 unanswered points, ended up beating a state-ranked Waseca team 24-6, but Carson Jansen lit that fire, and it was great to see him.
Yeah, that was not the guy I thought was going to intercept a ball, but he certainly he did it, and it certainly swung the tide for sure.
It's like grass is green, water's wet, and the Jansens make big plays on Schaefer Field, and he did it there in week 1.
Well, I have good news for you. He's only a junior, too.
What? Oh, I thought he was a senior.
I was like, I better check that, but I'm pretty sure he's a junior. So, yeah, that's awesome
for
us.
Talk about good news. The gift that keeps on giving, the Jansen family.
You bet.
We got another year.
One more year.
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
So we'll see who they have out there. And now that I mentioned that, they go back to their traditional front 7. They got Hatz and Doobie inside. Bancroft on the far side defensive end, Grayson Schneider at linebacker, Dino, Zeke Spencer, and Mickey Height out here covering the slot receiver. Kajewski low snap, but does a good job. He's going to just tuck that one away. And Zeke Spencer, one of the softer tackles you'll see. The kind-hearted Zeke Spencer once just wrapped him up and dragged him down instead of trying to bury him 6 feet under Schaefer Field. And it's going to be 3rd down and 9. 11:40 to go in the second quarter. You saw that time Kajewski running out of the pocket, but he had it tucked the whole way. He wasn't looking to throw. That was a designed quarterback run.
Yeah, and just as from a coaching perspective, I like the fact that they rolled him left. Everything else had been right. So breaking the tendency a little bit. Just again, the cat and mouse game. You gotta do things both ways.
On the near side, we have Lisey, Jed Lisey. First time that I think we're seeing him tonight. You have Knutson and Greeley on the far side. In the backfield is Wiles with Kajewski. Kajewski takes the snap. He's going to throw that one up in the air. Isaac Larson gets a hand on it, and he knocks it down for a pass deflection. Jace Klug was over there as well, helping out from his safety position. It's going to be 4th down and 9, and we'll see what Red Wing does down 17-0 with 11:04 to go in the second quarter. And this deep in their own territory, I guess, at least on their side of the 50, they're going to choose to send Greeley out there. Now watch, I've seen it multiple times on tape that they have attempted fake punts. Not very successful, but they have done it. It's 4th down and 9. That might be a little much. The last time I saw him run a fake punt, they essentially just let the punter run a sweep. I think 4th and 9 might be too far with the speed that this defensive front has, like Grayson Schneider's out there. You got Sawyer Wood, Luke Eastman, and he's just going to kick that one, Greeley, as towards the sideline. But Hoot says, hey, I want to play. He picks it up at the 23-yard line. He's kind of zigging and zagging. And he's going to be taken down, or I think he actually stepped out of bounds there at the 37-yard line, 38-yard line of Stewartville. And the Tigers will come out.
Well, I've talked a lot of track already in the first half of this football game, but I do want to give a shout out to Dylan Hoot. He stopped by my room today and told me that he is going to run track and field at University of Northern State in South Dakota.
Okay.
So that's awesome.
Division II.
Yeah, and he's got so many talents in track and field. He can high jump, he can run, he can triple jump. So I'm just super proud of him for getting that done. He's going to get a little money from him, and it's not often that we have track and field guys going on and doing it at the next level.
Malik Abdi in motion, fake jet sweep. They're running a screen to somebody. It's to Justice Dino. And he catches that one, takes it to the 40-yard line, a pickup of about 2. The tackle was made by Jed Lisey. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Yeah, you talk about Dylan Hoot. Last year, I don't have to tell you, Coach, 7th place at state in the with part of that 4x200 relay team. A 6'4" high jump, which he finished the year with 10 top 3 finishes. Won the section title with the triple jump, 43 feet 8 inches.
Yeah.
So an incredible athlete.
And if we asked him to do other things, he also can pole vault. If anything we ask him to do, he could do it. So, awesome young kid.
Speaking of Hoot, goes in motion. Malik Abdi, the first time tonight, he's in the backfield. He's going to get the handoff going to the left. He's got Doobie pulling. He's got Dylan Hoot out there blocking. Lunas just put somebody in the ground. Malik Abdi makes another guy miss. Jace Klug blocks for him. And Abdi picks up about 13. Plenty of distance for a first down as we get across the midfield. And we are down to the Red Wing 46 with a new set of downs. 9:57 to go with Stewartville up 17-0.
Do you feel like Malik Abdi is getting more comfortable just stopping and starting? And
so much better.
Yeah, it's just.
I think his breakout game was a couple games ago against Lake City. I mean, he made a couple runs that were just incredible. And then we saw it against PEM, and now we're seeing it tonight. They're going to fake the handoff to Abdi. They're going to go to Wangen down the middle of the field, who's wide open. He makes the catch. That was not an easy one. Breaks the tackle. And are you kidding me, Parker Wangen? Another touchdown for the incredible athlete from 46 yards away this time. 23 rip. Stewartville, 9:30 to go in the second quarter.
And how about the pass by Vince? Oh, Vince Wellick there, just dropping a dime on that. Beautiful. Deep post down the center of the field to a all-star wide receiver, and just money.
Big thanks to the Loftus family bringing us dinner tonight. We got pepperoni pizza,
hey,
Coach.
All right.
Let's go. Hannah Loftus, outstanding cross-country runner for us, just a freshman, plenty of years ahead for her. You'll hear more about that cross-country team at halftime during our halftime show where we do highlight. And that's, oh my gosh, what is that? Behind his head, he throws an interception. That may be Parker Wangen's first ever interception. It looked like there was confusion, but that was purposeful as everybody was running into each other. He threw a pass over his back to Isaac Larson. Unfortunately, I think it was Lisey that was the one that picked that off. So give Red Wing credit. Coach Muller talked about that in his Tuesdays with Muller, which you can catch on the Razzle Dazzle channel on YouTube. Shameless plug there on Tuesdays. Tuesdays with Muller this past week. He talked about Coach May. He says, Coach May says you can determine a lot about a team's character on how they respond to the PAT block team. And what he meant by that is you just gave up a touchdown. It's the very next play. You feel a little bit defeated. How tough are you going to play on that very next play? Yeah, it might only be worth 1 or 2 points, but how much are you going to compete? And give credit to Red Wing right there. I mean, that's a 2-point play. The ball's up in the air, all sorts of confusion. You don't know how to defend that.
Right.
We've never seen that play.
Yeah.
So it's obviously not on tape. You're just kind of winging that stuff. And how about the play by Red Wing. Continuing to compete. Regardless of the score, I think that's the take-home message hopefully Coach Stinson gives to his players. We were down. We were going against one of the best teams in the entire state, regardless of class, and we're continuing to fight, Coach.
Yeah, I like that thought by Coach May. I haven't really ever thought about that, but it's so true. And I do know that there's a lot of teams where you'll just see the PAT defense just kind of stand there, and you got a chance to make that PAT or miss it, or in Stewartville's case, there's all kinds of different things going on, but a lot of times there's not a lot of defense being put out there.
And Wangen kicks that one all the way to Racine. And there goes the race. I think 34 took that one. Eli Schley. Oh, how is that name so hard for me to say? Eli Schley.
You got it.
Nailed that one. I think Zeke Spencer got him last time, and Schley said, no, that's not happening again. Another wrestler on this team. You talk about some wrestlers. Schley, Doobie, Grayson Schneider. Great to see him back last year at heavyweight. Leslie Kunder.
There you go. Yep. Uh-huh.
And so Carson Jansen is out there on the far side. He is only a junior. I want everybody to know. There was some Yahoo that said he was a senior earlier. and
also,
they're trying to point to the left tackle, but I don't know. We had about 3 guys jump across.
Did he wrestle last year as well?
He did wrestle.
I was going to say, I thought he wrestled,
I think 3 out of the 4 Jansens did wrestle. The other one, Zippy, threw down some absolute hammers on the basketball court. Holy cats.
Yeah, he was busy in the winter as well.
Part of that basketball team that ran off 2 straight state appearances. Speaking of which, some royalty coming through the booth tonight, Coach.
Yeah, right.
Will and Henry Cheddar, just a floor above us right now, taking in the action. Great to see them. Henry Cheddar at St. John's University playing basketball for them. Will Cheddar, go blue, with the Michigan Wolverines. Both back.
Always
both here to support younger brother Pete Cheddar, who's on the sidelines. You may see him later tonight at quarterback. He is the backup. So Kajewski in the backfield. Again, he's got Wiles at running back position. 3 wide, 2 on the far side, 1 on the near side. They're going to hand that off to Wiles. He's going to try to spread it out. Mickey Height, though, is going to drive him back and does a good job of stopping when the whistle blows so we don't get any extra 15-yard penalties. Great job there by Stewartville's left side of their defense. I think Carson Jansen was over there making the running back continue to stretch, and the cavalry from the linebacker position came up to stop him.
Yeah, I have a hunch that, not only Red Wing, but Wiles has probably been able to hit that corner a lot of the season against some of the teams, but with Stewartville's speed and just their physical nature up front, he just can't get the corner as he's normally used to.
I think Cody Roshan, I think that's how you say it, Roshan is on the near side. That's a new wide receiver. Lincoln Doobie's giving chase. Kajewski gets the ball off, almost picked off by Isaac Larson, and it's going to be 3rd down and 11. Lincoln Doobie has been in the backfield almost as much as Kajewski has been tonight. What effort by 71 on senior night, his final regular season home game.
Yeah, this defensive line is intense tonight. They've been intense all season, but they seem to have a little extra kick tonight.
That front line, one of the best in the district. You see Bancroft getting a rest, Carson Jansen out there. We still have Schneider, Hatz, and Doobie. Our linebackers are the same. Dino, Height, and Zeke Spencer there roaming the middle of the field. Kajewski's going to take that snap. He's going to roll to the left. Throw that one over the top. Great catch there by Knutson. His ability to stop, come back on his back shoulder, high point the ball, and then gain an extra, 10 yards after the catch? Give Keegan Knutson all sorts of credit, and good throw there by Kajewski. He found the open receiver. He had plenty of options, but only one was open, and he picked the right guy.
Yeah, and Kajewski's actually, he's thrown it to the right guy, I think, nearly every time. The timing might not be perfect, but he's getting the job done the best he can. So
and you're talking about a guy with his first varsity snaps under center, and as a former quarterback yourself, you know that can't be easy.
No,
just
not at
running the offense, let alone throwing. And I think Red Wing will get this one. We saw the left side stand up a little bit early. Must have that Aaron Rodgers cadence.
Yeah, he might.
Boy, he got called out. He didn't like that. Now they don't have a head coach.
And I was going to say, yeah, maybe he shouldn't have called him out.
Some of those players have a lot of power in the NFL. So we're going to get the call here. I think they must just be determining, do you think the defense jumped first and made the offense go, or was the offense the first ones?
I don't know. Red Wing had a play called and broke the huddle already, and the ball has not moved yet. There we go.
They do give an offsides to Red Wing. My buddy Craig Clark called me out. He's like, I know you're eating that pizza. I was like, I am so hungry right now, and it smells so good. He's like, tough to call the game when you're chomping on some pizza. I got to mute my microphone next time, Coach.
You're all right.
Really appreciate that from the Loftus family.
Yeah, we get treated well up here, that's for sure.
This year has been spectacular. Wiles making sure he's got the play correct. Oh, bad snap there. Kajewski's going to pick it up, roll to the right. He might just tuck this one and run, which might not be a bad idea with his athleticism. And he gets taken down. I don't know if that's Larson that made that tackle. No, Larson's still standing there. Justice Dino. I saw a 9, and it was Dino that made the tackle on the far side. But give Kajewski credit for making lemonade out of lemons.
Picked up 5 yards, got him back to where they started after the false start. Well, almost. He's probably
second down and
10
and a quarter, we'll say.
Okay.
We'll round down. 7:53 to go. Stewartville up 23-0. Knutson on the near side. 2 wide receivers on the far side. If my eyes were better, I would tell you who they are. Kajewski's going to drop back and throw this one just in the air. Luke Eastman picks it off at the 43. He's got a cavalry in front of him. Grayson Schneider makes a block. Will Eastman do a pick 6? He does! Eastman with the pick 6 as he takes it to the house from 57 yards away. He's made some big hits tonight, Coach, and now he just made a big play with the ball in his hands, and give credit to those boys up in front. They turned from defense to offense awfully quick there.
Yeah, that was incredible. Good job by Luke Eastman to get his hands on that ball and then just sprint straight to the end zone, showing off his speed and taking on a little contact there at the pylon to make sure he gets in. He's had a big game tonight.
29-0 with 7:40 to go in the second quarter. Snap is good, hold is good. Wangen kicks that one, and that is good. It's going to be 30-0, 7:40 to go in the second quarter. Stewartville leads this one. Coach Meyer and I are going to step aside for just 30 seconds to take some bites of this pizza. We'll be back for the kickoff.
So maybe Bill did.
Stewartville leads this one 30-0. That one on the back of a Luke Eastman 57-yard interception return for a touchdown. As 2 of the phases have scored tonight. I'm sure Coach May now, his knees are starting to shake a little bit, feeling like he needs to bring something to the party. He's brought plenty. His special teams is playing well.
Yeah, well, and a lot of times they set up the touchdowns through field position or whatever, but.
Oh, look at this. Here's the sprint. And we're going to give that one to, I see it on the far side, 15. I'm giving it to Carson Meyer, senior.
Yep, there's a senior for you.
I think he won the race. Love that effort. When the ball goes through the end zone, it becomes a race. And for a sprint-based football team like this,
there you go.
They'll take every rep they can get. So just to recap, 7:40 to go in the second quarter. Stewartville leads 30-0. Brock Kajewski at quarterback. Red Wing is down their first couple guys. Adam Rowe, great first name. And also Kelvin Nelson. Both played pretty well earlier in the season. I believe both out due to injury. They're in the I formation. Wiles is in front. Hunter Greeley is the deep back. Kajewski's going to pitch that one to Greeley, trying to get to the outside. Isaac Larson comes up from his cornerback position to at least slow him down. And Grayson Schneider, I believe, ran him down from his defensive end position, and they drop him for a 5-yard loss. It'll be second down and 15 as the clock continues to tick away. Coach, senior night, how tough is that sometimes when they're in your program and you know that relationship's kind of coming to an end? Do you ever think about it or not until that last game happens?
I think it was the last game for me, and then it was
the last
always like, man, I sometimes got pretty emotional. And a lot of times it wasn't even the superstars because I felt like I probably paid attention to those guys a lot. A lot of times it was just some unsung hero that you just thought the world of because every day they showed up and did their job. And but, yeah, it's tough at the end of a season because it's not just that year that you've been with those guys. A lot of times it's 4 years, and it's a lot of time that you spend in the summers and in the fall. So, but senior night's kind of fun. It's always a good night, and there's certainly a different vibe on the sidelines during senior night. So we're seeing that tonight, a lot of celebration and excitement for one another.
That last play, Kajewski to Knutson on the sideline, a little 7-yard hitch route. Good timing there and great catch by Knutson. It was pretty good coverage by Eastman. I think there's just a bang-bang play that their timing was spot on, and they essentially cut their distance in half. Third down and 8 to go as Kajewski's going to roll to the right. He's going to throw that one over the middle. That one's almost picked off. Very rarely will you see Parker Wong drop a ball, but either way, he broke it up. That was intended for Greeley. And it's going to be 4th down and 8 from their own 22-yard line. 6:39 to go in the first half. Red Wing will get the ball coming out of halftime. I'm guessing they won the toss and deferred.
Yeah. They've had guys running through these zones that Stewartville's putting on with their secondary, and so they appear to be open for flashes, but if you don't throw the ball right on time and into that open window, with this Stewartville secondary, we've seen it all season. They'll snipe you if you're not perfect with that pass and timing.
Timeout Red Wing, as they only had 10 guys on the field. We're running one in late. I think they just are taking the time to regroup with 6:39 to go. Both teams at that point had 3 timeouts. So they might as well use one here. 6:39 to go in the first half. Stick around for halftime. We got some updates. Volleyball, cross country, I think boys soccer, I think are the 3 that I was able to get to. Tennis, I know that their team section ended last week against Owatonna, but individual sections are going on right now. I won't have the results for that because I think sections are like 2 matches and then they continue with another section next week or something. I'm not sure exactly how that works, but unable to find that. But at least we have a few teams that we can talk about. And then definitely I'm going to give Coach Meyer some time to eat this amazing pizza that was delivered to us.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to see Red Wing punt this one away. Greeley back for the Wingers. Dylan Hoot at his own, at the 49-yard line. There, England. That is a bomb there. Hoot's going to catch that one like Willie Mays, and he's going to try to return this one. He saw Luke Eastman take one to the house. He wants to do it himself, but great coverage there by Red Wing. Amazing punt by Greeley to flip the field to the other side, and then good coverage. I'm trying to get a number on it for you. I don't know if that was 55, Carson Fangman, that made the tackle. He was one of the guys getting up from the pile, so we'll give him some love.
Kind of a good play all around. A good snap, great punt, an amazing catch, and then really good coverage. So that was just a good
With the way Dylan Hoot just caught that one, do you think Coach Tyler Schmitz is going to be coming recruiting for baseball? Get him out of track?
Stay away, Tyler.
Yeah, right?
Stay away, Coach.
Vince Wellick in the backfield in the shotgun. Behind him is Malik Abdi. On the near side, you have Parker Wong, and on the far side, Jays Klug. There goes Mickey Height in motion to the camera side near us. Wellick is going to hand that one. No, he's going to fake it to Abdi. Throw a little screen over to the opposite side. That's Isaac Larson. He's got some blocking out front. He's going to gain about 13. As they're getting the seniors all involved tonight. And here comes Bancroft, another senior, back onto the field. Isaac Larson, 1 play, 1 catch, 13, 14 yards and a first down, as Stewartville is now on the Red Wings side of the 50 at the 41-yard line of the Wingers.
Well, we've seen Larson's catch how many balls on the sidelines where they're tiptoeing and keeping the feet in, so we know that Larson can catch that ball and run with it. He just hasn't been asked to a whole lot.
Wangen and Klug on the near side. Wellick is going to throw that one across the middle to Wangen. He did have about 2-yard cushion. The ball just a little bit low, and it'll be second down and 10, 6:14 to go. Stewartville up 30-0. Wangen could have been looking for another 3-touchdown game, Coach. Had one last week.
Yeah, well, and he had a step there. It's just the timing wasn't perfect on that, or the floor was just a little low. It was there.
I believe Wangen had 3 touchdowns last week and 4 against Zimbrota Mazeppa on the season. He had 12 touchdowns, but he has 2 tonight. So he's up to 14. Height goes in motion. Again, Abdi behind Wellick. Abdi is going to get the handoff right up the middle, cuts it outside. Oh my gosh, somebody just got smoked. Quinn Potts just pancaked a guy. Huge collision there.
Well, and again, I've just been so impressed here lately with Abdi's ability to find the open lane to run through, and there he kind of had a pile in front of him, so he jukes to the right, jumps outside, and then settles in behind his blocks, cuts back to the left, and then I thought he was going to spin out of that last tackle, but he is elusive right now when he gets the ball in his hands.
And sometimes that's the tough part. When you have 2 outstanding running backs like we do, they split the carries pretty evenly. So when you look at the stats, you see, oh, Pine Island's Nick Tyne, he's leading the district in rushes. He also has like 40 more carries than either of our running backs.
Yeah.
But if you combine them together, the old Jordan Johnson, Brandon Hoth issue.
Yep.
They're going to flare that one across the middle, just over the outstretched hands of Jace Klug. Bancroft was going into the flat. Klug was coming on a slant, so like a crossing route, just a little bit out of the reach of the 6'2" Jace Klug.
To follow up on your last point there,
Yeah.
think of how many second halves. Was it Tynes that you were mentioning?
Yeah,
The
Nick
40
Tyne,
more.
yeah.
Yeah, he has probably played in the second half.
Yeah.
Nearly every game where Dylan Scanlon and Malik Abdi are
Yeah.
a lot of times standing next to coach, watching.
And
Some
that
of the
was
other
sometimes
guys.
some of the impressive things with Josh Burai's
Yeah.
rushing totals, who was at 1994 his junior year. He didn't play but like 3 or 4 second halves. There's Abdi cutting in and out, and another solid run for Abdi, the junior. Picks up about 14, and the sticks move again. I believe it's going to be right at the 10-yard line, and I believe they're just going to make it first down and goal. They are. With 5:32 to go, Stewartville will try to score one more time, at least, before going into halftime, because the Wingers will get it out of halftime in the second half. How about this? You got Wellick under center. He's going to fake the jet sweep. He throws it back to Ridge Hatch. Ridge Hatch catches it. He's going to the end zone. Oh, they were hoping to pull that left tackle play. They did it with Caleb Jansen last year, trying to get Hatz in the end zone. Boy, the entire state of Montana would have lost it.
Well, and a nice catch and run by Ridge. You can see he looks so disappointed right now because he knows you're probably not calling that play twice in a game, but he had his chance there and did what he was supposed to do.
I wonder, does that count as a rush since it's behind the line or behind the line of scrimmage? How that works?
I think we were talking
lateral
about that last year too. I'm not sure how that would be totaled in the stat book. I just feel like it's a pass.
It
but
should be, yeah.
I don't know.
So Wellick sends Klug in motion. They're going to fake the jet sweep, hand off to Abdi, who cuts it to the outside, then cuts it back in and just jump stops into the end zone for a 4-yard touchdown run, as Malik Abdi becomes the 4th Tiger to have a touchdown tonight, and it's now 36-0 Stewartville, 4:32 to go in the second quarter.
Little counter play, fake the ball going to the right, and Malik Abdi takes the ball to the left, and again, just so elusive. Nobody could touch him there as he had only 4 or 5 yards to scamper to the end zone.
Oh, wait, we got a flip. Jace Klug is kicking this extra point. Parker Wangen is holding.
Oh, how
how
about
about this for a little juxtaposition in
There
our
you
specialists? Oh, look at that. And Klug puts it right through. He
Nailed
says,
it.
Wangen, I've seen you do this 100 times. It's not that hard. How about that? What an athlete.
Good eyes. I would not have noticed.
And you talk about the athleticism, not just a great football player. I said he was 6'2". He's 6'3", 165, runs a 4'7", 240. But really in Tiger Nation here, most well known for his baseball skills, which we talked about Coach Tyler Schmitz. He loves having Jace Klug on the team. Last year as a junior, 522 batting average, 621 on base percentage, 17 stolen bases, feed the cat, speed kills, 4 triples. Also an incredible pitcher, 1.33 ERA. He threw a no-hitter, all conference, all section. When you talk about that no-hitter, the first time I've ever heard it happen, on the same day, Jace Klug throws a no-hitter, Sidney Clark for the softball team throws a no-hitter, 2 no-hitters for Tiger Nation in a matter of 2 or 3 hours. Incredible.
How about that? That's crazy. I want to know how many times that's actually happened across the state, because that's a pretty phenomenal stat.
Well, luckily, Sidney Clark gives the baseball team plenty of opportunities. I think she had 4 this year, 3 in a row at one point.
That's incredible.
I mean, a major reason that Stewartville brought home their first conference championship in school history in the sport of softball. You talk about baseball, the job that Coach Tyler Schmitz did in his first year as the man in charge. What did they rattle off, like 18-0 to start the year? They were, what, 1 game short of going to state? Ran into just a really good pitcher on the other team.
Right.
Now Klug's going to kick it off. Wangen finally getting a break. Klug boots that one. Knutsen's going to take it at his 7-yard line. They fake the reverse. I think Wiles said, there's no way I'm taking that ball. You see, is Zeke Spencer out here? I'm not taking that ball. And they'll be tackled at about the 15-yard line. 4:27 to go as Red Wing will look to double dip. You always talk about Stewartville double dipping. It's scoring at the end of the first half and getting the ball out to go in the second half. We'll see if Red Wing can put a drive together. We've seen Kajewski make some plays. He's starting to get a little bit more comfortable throwing the ball. Keegan Knutsen has had some good catches. Maybe they'll get a couple other guys involved. We got, I don't know if it's Roshan or Roshan, I wish I knew. Greeley on the far side. So 2 wide receivers on the far side. Near side is Knutsen. Kajewski's going to take that snap. He's going to roll to the right. Ridge Hats has a hand on him. He slows him down for his good buddy, Lincoln Doobie. Another tackle for loss for 71, Lincoln Doobie.
Yeah, truly a good vision there of just doing your job. With Ridge not letting him get outside, knowing that if he forces him inside, like you said, his good buddy was going to be waiting for him.
We got an update here. Varsity volleyball in the Apple Valley. I think it's Apple. Is it Apple Valley or Lakeville? I should look that up, especially because I have to drive up there tomorrow to watch my daughter. But varsity volleyball has won their first match. They have moved on to the second round, and we'll probably get some updates there. Kajewski is going to take this snap on 2nd down and 15, hand that one off to Wiles, and nowhere to go as the entire right side of the defensive line collapsed. Ridge Hats and Caleb Bancroft stopped that play in its tracks with 3:30 to go. It's going to be 3rd down and long for Red Wing, down 37-0. We want to say thanks to everybody tuning in on Stewartville Activities on YouTube. Really appreciate it. You know, so maybe something I'll talk about at halftime, but some people had reached out to me about potentially setting up a camera, you know, a different camera, a different setup to help with the broadcast, and I've actually started to look into it, and we'll talk about it a little bit more after this play as Kajewski is back, 3rd down and 16, just under the 3-minute mark, and Greeley jumps off sides on the far side. But anyway, 2 weeks ago, our volleyball team played at Kenyon Wanamingo, and it was one of the most impressive broadcast productions I've ever seen. They had, not that I'm shooting for this, but they had commercials. They had the players introducing themselves on video. They had replay systems, all of that. And so I reached out to Kenyon Wanamingo, and they got me in touch with Kirby Vanderwalker, who's the guy that runs their broadcast, and he's going to try to help Stewartville at least say, this is what you would need if you wanted to run this type of broadcast. And I think if we could somehow manage some financial support for that, we could really put a production together. If you ever get a chance, go out to Kenyon Wanamingo Activities and look at some of their broadcasts and what they do. It's incredible. Kajewski's going to take this one down on 3rd down and 21, just over the outstretched hands of Mickey Height. Knutsen's going to catch that one, take it down to the 22-yard line. It's going to be 4th down and 6 as we move in to the 2:30 mark. The clock is still continuing to run. We'll see what Coach Stinson does on the Red Wing side. I would imagine you run it all the way down, take a timeout, and then punt it. But we'll see. But how cool would that be if we could get a camera up here? Because they got the score on the bottom.
Sure.
They have replay opportunities. He told me what the program is for a computer. So, you're talking about the logistics of it. You probably need a pretty good computer to handle that kind of, willpower of the cameras and stuff like that, the audio. They need, obviously, the camera, whether the school has one or not. You would, and then it's just the program, which is a one-time buy-in. I'm sure there's some other things, but they're going to get back to us. It's not something we're looking forward to this season, but maybe next season, if I can somehow manage to draw Coach Meyer back into the booth, maybe it's something that we could provide, because I do know people like the YouTube activities site, the ability for us to kind of control our own stream, make sure there's not ad breaks, make sure that that huddle doesn't cut into our halftime show, things like that. And so something to keep in mind if you're out there, and if you're thinking about supporting the broadcast, it would also be an opportunity to maybe stream some volleyball games or maybe some basketball games. And when I say stream, I mean provide the broadcast, not just the video and the court noises. Who knows? Something that always looking to improve, especially with the success that our sports have had. Great to highlight these athletes. What we got here, 1:52 to go. Sorry, Coach Meyer, been talking a lot. 37-0 Tigers. Wellick is going to fake the handoff. He's going to roll to his right. Got all sorts of time. He's going to throw that one short to Klug. It goes through the back of his hands. And it'll be 2nd down and 10 as the clock stops at 1:46.
Well, I just know how much I enjoy calling the games with you, and I think you and I both, when we are out in the community, I hear it nearly everywhere I go. Someone will come up and say, hey, it was fun listening to you on Friday night or whatever. So we know people are watching and people are listening. And
yeah, just sitting right in front of us is Caleb Bancroft's grandparents. They watch from Iowa, and we're able to kind of touch base before the game started. So appreciate their support. And now they're out here watching Caleb on senior night. They're going to throw this one, Wellick to Wangen. He's got blockers out in front of him. And Wangen somehow slips through the one tackler, gets down to the 33-yard line, and going to be... No, he got past the sticks. They're going to mark him down. Oh, yeah, it was the 35 we needed to get to. That's a 1st down, and he went out of bounds, so the clock stops at 1:39. Stewartville trying to get another score here before the end of the first half, 1:39 to go. Wellick getting the play call from the sideline. On the far side, you got Jace Klug. On the near side, Wangen split out wide. Inside him at the slot is Caleb Bancroft. Next to Wellick is Dylan Scanlon. He sends Wangen in motion. Wangen a mesh route across the way. He throws it up wide open. Dylan Hoot's going to get into the end zone on senior night. Not on special teams, but he does it there as well. He puts a beautiful ball. Wangen ran the mesh route. I think they drew up on him. And how about Hoot? Just running out towards the end zone. Beautiful loft there by Wellick. 1:19 to go. And now it's Stewartville 43 rip. Coach.
Yeah, perfectly drawn up play, well executed, a great pass, nice route by Dylan Hood, and nothing but Ponderosa in front of him after he caught it. So 6 more on the board.
I think that was a 23-yard touchdown catch. Don't check my math. It's never good. All stats up here are unofficial. And Klug is going to kick this one again. He's going to put that one in the trees. Okay, just short of the trees, but he's trying to one-up Parker Wangen. And how long before we see old number 32 out there kicking? Have you seen him on the sideline yet?
I haven't seen him warming up yet. The
Usually
net's still
he warms
down.
up. Oh, I see him out there, though. He's right down here by Bancroft.
All right.
So he's pacing the sidelines, just waiting for his opportunity. I'd start giving it to him, Coach.
He's ready. I know that.
He's been ready all year. 44-0 Stewartville, 1:19 to go in the second quarter. Stick around for the halftime show. We'll be able to talk about a few of the teams here, fall sports teams in Tiger Nation. Boy, how much would you have loved to see Ridge Hats get in the end zone?
Oh,
Gosh,
yeah.
I see him down here, and it just reminded me.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome.
He was so close, and yeah. I'm a big body language guy, and I could just see in his shoulders that he was like, oh, my one chance to score a touchdown.
Tough to get that Mack truck moving. Once you get it moving, it won't slow down, But
let's see, we had the tumbleweed last year where we got an offensive lineman in, and then Caden King got in a couple years ago.
Yep, Caleb Jansen got that pass last year. He
got
counts
in, you're
as a
right.
big cat.
So So again,
Not unprecedented, but I'd love to see that because the Big Cats sacrifice so much. You talk about Dylan Scanlon, Malik Abdi, over 1,400 yards rushing on the ground this season for the Tigers. That has to do with the blocking up front. You don't get that without the Big Cats. Jace Klug's going to kick this one off. It's deep and to the far left side. Knutson picks it up at the 13-yard line. He's going to cut all the way across field. 45, I believe that's Carter Dix, slows him down. And maybe Peyton English might have been there to finish it off. And I would imagine Red Wing is going to run the ball a couple times and just try to get into halftime, regroup, and get the ball coming out in the second half. The last thing you want to do is throw this up when you have Parker Wangen and Jace Klug roaming the middle of the field.
Yeah, at this point, I think that's exactly what most coaches would do, is just try to get to half, talk about the good things that you did, and see what you can fix going into a second half.
Roshan and Knutson on the near side, two wide receivers out here. Wiles and Greeley in the backfield. Greeley, the deep back, he's going to take that handoff right up the middle, and there is nowhere to go on that play. Somehow bounced it a little bit to the outside, though. Mickey Height takes him down, and I think he's going to get credit for about a 1-yard gain as we come under 1 minute. And sometimes you would see Coach Muller call the 3 timeouts to try to get the ball back. With a 44-0 score here with 50 seconds to go, not going to do that, especially knowing probably the number of injuries Red Wing has. Kajewski under center. You got one wide receiver to each side. Greeley on the far side, Knutson on the near side. That's just a handoff to, I believe it was Wiles, the fullback. And he's going to dive forward and pick up about 2. It's going to be 3rd down and 7 with 24 seconds to go. And Coach Stinson's, I believe, going to just pull his offense. They are starting to walk to the sideline. And that's going to do it for the first half. Stewartville defense, though, disciplined. They're saying, hey, we're going to stay here till the final second tick so you can't run out and quick snap it on us. And what a first half there by Stewartville. 44-0 is the halftime score. To recap it, Parker Wangen with a 50-yard touchdown pass, catch, I should say, from Wellick on the first play of the game, made it 6-0. Then a 23-yard touchdown pass from Wellick to Scanlon on a wheel route made it 14-0. 32-yard field goal by Wangen later in the first quarter, 17-0. Wangen, another long touchdown catch. That made it 23-0. A pick 6 by Luke Eastman. That made it 30-0. 4-yard touchdown run by Malik Abdi, 37-0 Stewartville. And then a 23-yard touchdown catch by Dylan Hoot. The final score there, the final halftime score, at least, if you will, 44-0. We talked about the other teams participating in Tiger Nation. We'll get you that right now, the Tiger Nation halftime show. Volleyball, love watching those girls play. First, they are, like we talked about, they are in a tournament up north. I should really look where it's at. I'm surprised my buddy Craig Clark hasn't sent me where it's at yet because I've made that mistake several times. But they won their first match going into the second round. Volleyball in Manorville earlier this week on Tuesday night to take on the Comets. Such a different atmosphere in that gymnasium in Manorville than what I've become accustomed to over the years when the Tigers and Comets meet up on the volleyball court. Barely any student section for the Comets. Not much energy coming from the stands, but plenty of energy coming from the ladies on the court. Stewartville absolutely rolled. 3 straight sets, 25-16, 25-22, and a convincing 25-14 final set. To me, the success of this team, I think it's been the emergence of a strong trio of juniors that has led us to this 14-3 record. I'm talking about 2 middle hitters in Matilda Doobie and Dream Petershon, and the return of a healthy Ella Theobald at outside hitter. These girls in the front row have been almost unstoppable. The way they hit the ball, the way the blocks they're throwing up, it is incredible to watch. It is worth the price of admission. And when you talk about Doobie and Petershon, whether it be that they didn't get a fair shake to show what they got last year, or they've improved that much over a year on the calendar, either way, give credit to these 2 girls for continuing to compete and then taking full advantage when they got the opportunity this season. I'm talking about Doobie and Petershon. And speaking of giving credit, How about Ella Theobald? Ella Theobald coming back from her second, not first, but second major knee surgery, which is not easy to do. And then to look as sensational as she has this season, a ton of credit has to go to her. Kaylee Lehrman, I think she has been fantastic at the setter position, in my opinion. Great to see her out with the ones during the Castle-Manorville match. She led the team with 17 assists. She has just been so consistent for us on a day-to-day basis in the volleyball program. I don't think enough credit has been given this year to Sammy Peterson. You're talking about almost the same exact team, roster-wise at least, minus one single player, roster-wise as the same team from a year ago. They go from 12-16 last season. They are 14-3 already this year. He has them playing with confidence. He's allowed them to play with this sense of freedom, go after the ball, not playing out of fear of making a mistake. And I love that type of mentality for this team, and I think that's where you're seeing the success of the Stewartville Tiger volleyball program. Volleyball, a sport where you can't be hesitant. You can't play scared, and I think that, to me, has been the biggest change I've witnessed this season, and I am excited to see how far this team can potentially go. Went on a little tangent there in terms of stats I never gave you for the Comet match. Peter Strawn led the way. Love watching her in the middle. 9 kills, 56% kill percentage, 1 block. The other middle hitter I was raving about, one of my favorite Stewartville Tigers, Matilda Doobie. Just a sweetheart, but an absolute killer on the court. I call her MD because of her initials, but she's a surgeon as she cuts through the defense and the blockers. She had 7 kills on 23 attacks with no errors, also had 1 ace. And I may love big blocks even more than big spikes, and Doobie had 6 of them, which is insane. So who hits harder? Matilda Doobie or Lincoln Doobie? I don't know. It's up in the air for debate. Ella Theobald, Kylie Minnick each had 5 kills. Theobald was second on the team with 3 blocks. Kate Clavetter was hot at the service line. She leads our team in aces. Well, she got another 3 on Tuesday night. Her serves actually accounted for 15 of our points, and she seems to lead the match. She seems to lead the team every single match in digs. This one, she did it again against Castle-Manorville, led the team with 26. Middlestead had 18 digs. Kylie Minnick had 12. Abby Langstaff, nice night for her. 11 assists, 8 digs, 2 kills. The girls, like I said, 14-3. I do have it written down here. Lakeville tonight and tomorrow with the tournament. One last regular season match against Lourdes on Tuesday night at home. Then it's playoff time. I would imagine Byron and Stewartville will be the top 2 seeds in Section 1 and the favorites to make it to the section championship. However, got to take care of business one match at a time. Excited to see what Stewartville volleyball does over these next few weeks. Speaking of Tuesday, cross country was in Plainview, Elgin Millville for the Jody Raymond Invitational. The boys would finish in 3rd place out of 10 teams with a score of 76. Cotter won the meet with a 43. In terms of the boys, we had 2 guys in the top 10. 5th place finish for senior Josh Langseth, who has led us all year long. The homecoming king ran it in a time of, it's a 5K in a time of 16:33. Freshman Nolan Schatz took 10th place in a time of 17:14. In 19th place, Asher Langseth, 17:46. In 20th place, Jack Owen, 17:47. And then our final score, Jackson Eckerman, 22nd place for the freshmen, 17:51. Ethan Owen and Josiah Scruggs also ran for us in 40th and 41st place. The girls ran really well to second place finish out of 11 teams behind a strong Cotter team. The Tigers finished with 71 points behind three top 10 finishers in the meet. We were led by freshman Sella Scarin in a 5th place showing. The 9th grader ran it in 20:38. Nora Campbell, the senior, in 9th place for her, 20:41, just 9 seconds behind her younger sister, Elise Campbell, in 10th place, 20:50 was her time. In 16th place, Luella Gici, 21:41, and then our final score, in 31st place, Olivia Bunny, 22:31 was her time. Also running for us, Jenna Kime took 37th place, and now new broadcast favorite, Hannah Loftus with the pizza that was delivered, 45th place for her, 23:55. Cross country will be running at the HVL Conference Championships on Tuesday, October 15th in Stewartville at Bear Cave Park. That's pretty sweet here, hosting the HVL Championship, so I would imagine traffic will be heavy in Tiger Nation this coming Tuesday, the 15th. Stewartville boys soccer. Stewartville boys soccer. Soccer in the postseason already. Wow. And the boys, they received the number 4 seed, hosted the number 5 seeded Eagles of Dover Yoda on Wednesday night. Stewartville would leave 1-0 at the half and put another 2 goals in for good measure as Cole Kropp had a fantastic night while Brecken Rester and his defense pitched a shutout. 3-0 was the final score. Kropp had 2 goals and 1 assist. That assist was to our other goal scorer, Logan Kwam. Lucas Yenny and Lucas Nelson each had an assist on Kropp's goals. Rester finished his night with 5 saves. The boys team now 11-4-2, and they move on to the section semifinal where they will have to take on the number 1 seed Rochester Leeward Eagles in what will invariably be a tough matchup. We played Leeward back on September 24th, lost that game 6-0. We will have to find a way to shut down Blake Moyna, the scoring machine for the Rochester Leeward Eagles, or maybe Cole Kropp from Stewartville can go head-to-head and match him in scoring. Anything can happen in the postseason. It's win or go home. We will see tomorrow night, 6:15 p.m., Rochester Regional Stadium on the campus of RCTC. Girls soccer finished their regular season 4-11-1. They would receive the 5 seed and they would take on the number 4 seeded Albert Lee Tigers on the road. I haven't found many statistics the entire season for Stewartville girls soccer, and I don't have any more for you. All I heard is that the girls did lose last night to Albert Lee, so the 2024 season ends 4-12-1. Coach Meyer, you got anything on that?
Yeah, I can tell you I have a couple of girls soccer players. They ended up losing last night in overtime to Albert Lee. It was 0-0 after regulation, and they lost in penalty kicks.
No.
So there's your update on girls soccer.
So, I mean, the dream season run, or the dream postseason run from last year almost started this year. Got nipped in overtime.
Yeah.
Sad to see that. Tennis, like we talked about, individual sections started this week. I believe I heard both the Regal sisters advance, maybe a couple others, but I don't want to comment because I'm not entirely sure, but definitely good luck to any of those tennis players that are continuing on in the postseason. Great fall season to be a Stewartville Tiger, Coach.
Yeah, as always, Stewartville's so strong in all athletics, and the fall is definitely one of the seasons that we tend to just kind of dominate in a lot of different things, and it's like you said, it's fun to be a team that has not just one good sport but many. So fantastic.
And Coach, I hope you weren't going on a diet. It looks like we got more snacks up here. These from our guy Mully down at the Down Under. He says you have the voices of Sunday morning songbirds. I'm sure he's talking about you, Coach. Maybe he wants us to start singing. I don't know. But either way, we can't tell the Down Under how much they appreciate, or how much we appreciate the support and them coming down. We know this is this is a donation. We're not slipping them any money. They're donated. The Steers have always been very generous. Molly has always been good to us. All the people working at the Down Under. Obviously, somebody I work with, Jordan, works there quite a bit. Want to give her a shout out if she's there. But a great group of gals that work there. The Steer family. Molly, obviously, a mainstay there at the Down Under, and they for years now they've been showing these games on their TVs. They could put it on NFL or college football or Major League Baseball, but they support Tiger Nation. They put these broadcasts up. Hopefully they don't tune us out too much, but we do appreciate not only the food that they give us, because every Friday night, I'm going to be honest, about this time, my belly starts rumbling, and I always look forward to the food that we get up here, but also just the support of showing our broadcast and giving so many people in Stewartville an opportunity to go have great food, enjoy company with other people, and watch the game all in one. Yeah,
you can't go wrong when you go down there. You're going to have fun, and you're going to definitely get filled up with some good food and beverages. So, wonderful place. Love it.
So Coach Meyer and I are going to step aside, probably start taking down some of this food, as we got about 4 or 5 minutes left of halftime, and then we will be back for third quarter action. Stewartville Tigers lead this one 44-0. And give us about, 4 minutes on the clock is what it says right now, and then I think they get an additional 3 to warm up. So say about 6 or 7 minutes, and Coach Aaron Meyer and myself, Adam Peterson, will be back to bring you second half action here in the Week 7 matchup between the Red Wing Wingers and the number 1 state-ranked Stewartville Tigers. We are back for second half action after we got to talk to a couple legends up here. Will Cheddar, Henry Cheddar.
And Tim Malone.
Tim Malone. Yeah, you want to talk about legends. I should have started with him. Boy, has he produced some athletes here for Tiger Nation.
That's right.
Janessa, actually, she was on the team that started out the girls basketball run 24-6 back in, I think that was 2018 maybe? Yeah, Byron in the section championship made it that far. Then Kaylee Malone, probably our best cross-country runner that we've seen here in a decade or so. And Tegan Malone led not only the football team but the basketball team to 2 state tournament appearances 2 years in a row. Mitts, they call him. Mitts.
And big sister Janessa got married to Shad Curtis this summer, so a busy summer.
Speaking of which, if you want to talk about one of my most heartbreaking games, speaking of Shad Curtis, or maybe one of the Curtis brothers, you were coaching. Pine Island at Pine Island. Last second touchdown pass from A.J. Quant to somebody got called back on a hold.
Yes,
do you remember that?
I do remember that, and I'm pretty sure that watching the film, it was not a hold.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway.
You're good at bringing back those memories.
Yeah, I know. The last time it was your final game coaching. What a jerk move. Kajewski in the backfield. They're going to do a quick toss out there to Knutson. Luckily, it was a forward pass for Red Wing, and it's going to be 2nd down and 10. So I think what you'll see most of the time, Stewartville, they do this regardless of the score. Coach Muller always says, we're going to play hard for the first half, and our starters usually play for at least the first drive of the second half. So you're going to see the starters out there right now. You're already actually seeing some people mix in Colin McGill at safety instead of Parker Wangen, Dylan Hoot in there instead of Jace Klug. So you're starting to see a little bit of a mix. But you'll see that more as the game goes on, especially after these first drives. That handoff is to Wiles, breaking it to the left side. Here comes Isaac Larson from the one side. Ooh, a flag comes in late. We'll see what it was. It's too far away for us to know. I believe Grayson Schneider was the first one there. They're going to call a personal foul horse collar tackle. That's our second one tonight. I wonder why we're tackling them up so high.
I don't know. Well, the one out in front of us was that open field kind of coming in full speed, a little, I don't want to say out of control, but just with a lot of energy, and sometimes you just get a little grabby. That one was just too far away for us to see it all.
I know a couple of big plays that we've had up here. I've horse collar tackled you a couple times jumping. Dan, I remember one time he had hurt his shoulder or something, and I smacked him on the shoulder. He's like, during the game.
We need a referee up here for you to be throwing.
Look at this, Greeley on the sweep, but Grayson Schneider's out there to set the edge, and he's not going to let him go, and he tries to pull his hands back. We got a flag on the far side, though, I would imagine. Oh, 73's limping off. You never want to see a team that's decimated by injuries have more. That's Trace Taylor. Want to give some credit to the Red Wing offensive line. That's not an easy position to play against these strong defensive front. I believe I have written down Owen Maxwell, Tristan Hochschild, Trace Taylor, who you saw just limp off, Aiden Diaz, and Joe Brown. Not the easiest positions to be in, regardless of who you're going against, but then you go up against one of the best defensive lines in the entire state of Minnesota for Class 3A. That includes a guy going D1, on the other side, a guy going D2, and then 2 guys in the middle that probably could play college football if they want.
Yeah, and can throw a shot put 50 feet.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, Lincoln Doobie just popped that snap so fast. Almost picked off. It would have been Isaac Larson on the coverage. That one was intended for Knutson, I believe, on the far side. It's going to make it 3rd down and 15. Yeah, Ridge Hats, how about that? He's only been throwing a couple years, went to state in shot put and discus.
Yeah. And
played
and medaled in both.
He
yeah.
did.
So, yeah, just a tremendous showing last season. And the best part about Ridge is he's hungry for, he wants to medal even higher than he did last year. I know in that discus, speaking of Will Cheddar,
state school
he's
record.
got the school record
Yeah.
eyeballed. I know he does. So we'll see if he can get there. He had a couple throws in practice and warm-ups at times that would have threatened that school record. So if he can just do it at the right time,
Boy, you guys have had just a run of incredible throwers. You talk about going back to Shane Byrne, and you had Will Cheddar, you had Tor Lunas, you had Peyton Byrne win a state title. You have Ridge Hats medal in 2 of them last year.
Yep.
Your throwing program has always been really strong, so give credit to whoever your throwing coach is, and I'm sure you'll give us a name. But the other thing is Ridge Hats. That's not just, oh, he's big, he can throw it far. That takes technique. You have to know what you're doing.
Yep.
And I can't tell you how many times I drove to the school to pick up one of my daughters,
Yep.
and he's out there. It could be freezing cold. He's out there practicing. Oh, that goes, he kicked it right into the back of his personal protector, and now he's running it. And they push him out of bounds, so Stewartville will get this inside the Red Wing 40-yard line. Tough break for Red Wing there. But yet, it takes all sorts of practice, and he was out there putting the work in. And luckily, that's what I love, is when people work that hard and do the hard work behind the scenes. And we've talked about this before. Everybody goes to practice. But if you want to be great, you have to do extra. What extra are you going to do? And to see Ridge Hats do that.
Yeah.
But what I love is when it pays off.
Right.
When they get rewarded for that hard work. It doesn't guarantee you that success, but it puts you in a lot better position, Coach.
Yeah, and it ends up being a culture. The throwers just love grinding on the technique and figuring out how to make the implements fly as far as they can. And it all, I'll bring up Glenn Amundsen way back when I was in high school. Was just a legendary coach that worked with Olympians, and so the fact that he was our throws coach here, he basically had a coaching tree now that is branched off and just shared all of his knowledge with other people. So, we've had some awesome throws coaches.
Wellick throws that one out to Bancroft. Bancroft goes through the sure tackle. He's going to get pushed out at the 14-yard line. Big catch by the senior, Caleb Bancroft. Who's your throwing coach now? We should probably give them credit, him or her credit.
Right now we're using Heidi Owen. I said we're using. Heidi Owen threw at the University of Minnesota, and her dad was a throws coach. So, again, it's in the family. But again, she has worked with Garrett Nosbish the year before. She helped us out. And then Nicole Jensen was my throws coach for years before that. We've just had some, speaking of legends, I just think of them as legends because they've each created state champions. And
Scanlon
it's hard
goes
to
in
do.
motion. They're going to throw a middle screen. That one's to Chase Klug. May not have worked the first time, but it definitely works the second time as Klug finds the end zone on senior night from 15 yards away, and a flag comes in late. That's probably going to be after the play. I'd assume the touchdown will stand. It was coming in so late. Ineligible man downfield. But he caught it behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that's the thing, is if he catches it at or behind the line of scrimmage, even they usually give you a yard or two.
Yeah, I think 1 yard. And, I mean, you talk about, they're picking it up, and I think that's the conversation. You talk about a guy that made that famous. We just talked to him at halftime.
Yeah.
Henry Cheddar.
That's
and
so
now
true.
Jace Klug pulls it off right there.
And how many times did Henry do that at the most key moment on our playoff run last year?
Talk about Mr. Consistency.
Yeah, for sure. Here's Leslie. Don't miss it.
Oh! Leslie setting up. We got Jace Klug holding. We got Zeke Spencer snapping. The hold is good. It's through the uprights!
Oh, yeah.
And what a senior night for Leslie Conard! 1-for-1 and extra points. This crowd is going crazy, and that kid deserves it, Coach.
Absolutely. He loves this. Look at that. The yes chant coming in. Awesome.
Big players step up with big plays and big moments, and on senior night, Leslie Conard makes it happen.
Oh, that's awesome. I know he was so excited. He thought maybe tonight he could get that opportunity, and when he did, he put it through. That's awesome. Way to go, Leslie.
Extra point is good by Leslie Conard. That makes the score 51-0 with 10:42 to go in the third quarter. Stewartville just rolling. I would imagine he's going to do the kickoff too here, Coach.
Well, we've seen
Maybe.
a variety of.
I don't know if Rester's here.
We've seen Jace Klug kickoff.
Peyton English looks like he's going to kick.
All right.
So it looks like they're going to start running the JV team out there. And we will do our best to keep you updated on who's out there, who's making the plays. But what a kick to remember there by Leslie Conard.
He's going to add that one to his highlight reel right there with extra point from the state championship game.
What I love is that the coaches put them in the best position to succeed, too. They had their best snapper, their best holder. They do the fake. Wiles is going to take this one to the side. 34, Eli Shy. Jeez Louise, I'm going to stop saying his name. I'm going to start just saying 34. What's that? Well, we don't do that up here, bud. Sorry. Announces? The next door. Right next door. Sorry, we got a kid up here. If you're listening to the broadcast and you're at Schaefer Field and you lost a kid, come find him. But that's not, I don't know what's going on. You remember last year somebody came up and complained about the music?
Oh, yeah, that's
it's like,
right.
Do you think we run the music here? Red Wings going to start this off. First down and 10 at the 30-yard line. Kajewski's going to run that one. Lincoln Doobie takes him down for a loss as he's having a heck of a night, Coach.
Yeah, we've seen him at the start of the game, and now at the start of the half, he's just revved up and ready to go. And I have a hunch he knows his plays are limited here, so let it all out.
His length is just incredible,
yeah.
though. His length, and he's so fast. My favorite play from last week was him running down when, was it Klug that was running the end zone? And there comes Lincoln Doobie out of nowhere to hold a guy off.
Yeah.
I know it got called back, but I love that.
It shows the effort. It shows the speed and athleticism for offensive, defensive linemen. That kid is fast.
Kajewski, I think they're going to call a timeout. He's unsure of what's going on. That will be a Red Wing timeout. 9:51 to go in the third quarter. Stewartville leads this one 51-0. Just had a buddy say, since you guys are running a daycare, I'll drop my kid off. Well played.
Well played.
We wouldn't be a daycare with 5 stars, I'll tell you that much. I don't even know where my own kids are, right?
Well, yeah. I always laugh at how.
You had one come up here.
Yep.
Which one? Hey, happy birthday to one of them.
Happy birthday to Raina on Monday. So she turned 9, and she came up, and I think she might have even stole a wing. She loves her wings, so takes after her dad a little bit.
Maybe they'll come back. Big thanks to Mully there, supplying the wings, not only for us, but for our daycare.
That's right.
Hey, how about this? You want to talk about legends in Stewartville? Kyle running out there, making sure the officials are hydrated. He's been a manager since you were head coach.
He has been, and you mentioned Homecoming King. There he is right there. I don't know the exact year. Kyle can remember, but he was our Homecoming King when he was a senior in high school, and very deserved. Everybody loved Kyle in his senior class, so still hanging around. Yep, he washes dishes at lunch and says hi to anybody that walks by. Fine young man.
Here's the snap. Kajewski's going to drop back. He throws that one up. That one's short. Luke Eastman's going to get another pick. Here comes Knutson behind him, going to try to pop that ball loose and take it down at the 3-yard line. Eastman almost had his second pick 6 of the night. There's a flag on the play. It was in the backfield. It was on them holding. It's going to be declined. That's why I didn't get too excited. I thought it was going to be coming back. I didn't know if it was a roughing the passer. But either way, it's going to be first down and goal from the 3-yard line.
Well, and that was almost an exact replica of Luke Eastman's first pick 6, to the point where the ball was fluttering and he kind of had to wait for it. Caught it and took off. He just didn't quite have the entourage of blockers on that particular one. This is where I
put Leslie Kunert at the running back position and just say, follow Grayson Schneider. Like a moose package with Kunert in the backfield. If there was ever a time, this is when I would do it. You got 4 shots. Please, please,
calling
coach.
A timeout. They're setting something up, right? I mean,
please,
you don't call
coach.
a timeout in this
Tumbleweed
situation.
Or something.
We'll see what they got when they come out of this timeout.
If Leslie Kunert gets a touchdown here, you may see me Jason Kelsey and jump out of this window. I think he's in the huddle.
You're going to get the unsportsmanlike conduct.
I'll run on the field and wave my shirt around. I don't know. I might get yelled at from the wife, but totally worth it. So we're going to find out. Coach Muller takes the timeout. First down and goal from the 3-yard line. 9:41 to go in the third quarter. And look at all the guys in that huddle. They're all invested in this.
They are.
There's something cooking.
Yep.
The old Michelin star chef Garrett Muller's in there cooking up a play. And he's going to use I think a very rare ingredient, Leslie Kuhnert maybe. It's going to be something to somebody that you're not ready for. It's going to be a Caden King moment or a
Zeke Spencer is right next to Coach. He'd be a good guy to get in anybody's way. Yep, he's coming out.
Oh my God, Leslie's going out there. We got the big cats. We're 3 yards away. We got a couple opportunities. Vince Wellick telling them this is what we're going to do. You got Justice Dino. You got Grayson Schneider. We got some of the best blocking big cats up front. Look at Vince Wellick in the shotgun position. Leslie Kuhnert next to him. He's got Grayson Schneider, Justice Dino. Could this happen, Coach? Could this happen? Vince Wellick hands it off to Leslie Kuhnert. He cuts up the middle. He falls forward and gets about a yard. It's going to be 2nd down and 1. Or 2nd down and goal from the 1. They rush up to the line. Same play, guys. Same play. We're going to do this 3 times. Here we go. Wellick in the backfield. Leslie Kuhnert to his left. Dino and Schneider up front in the moose package. Snap to Wellick. Hand off to Kuhnert. Does he get in? Does he get in? Oh, they marked him down at the 1 foot. No, they marked it a touchdown. Leslie Kuhnert with the touchdown on senior night. Dreams do come true, baby!
An awesome moment right there for Tiger football fans. Leslie is a dedicated football player, and for him to get a chance to score a touchdown is fantastic.
Leslie Kuhnert with a moment he'll never forget.
There you go.
Give credit to all the big guys up front, and how excited are they for their teammate? You know, Grayson Schneider, Justice Dino could have tried to get a touchdown. They said, "Hey, we're gonna clear the way for you. Just follow us."
And to see how excited they were to run the play again when it didn't work the first time, I just love it. It just shows the culture that the Stewartville Tiger team has, and they all want what's best for each other. That's awesome.
The Leslie Kuhnert touchdown run puts the Tigers up 57-0 with 9:11 to go in the 3rd quarter. I know there was some conversation about potentially if it was agreement between the coaching staffs to potentially run or do a running clock in the 2nd half. I don't know what came of it. Is this the birthday girl?
That's the birthday girl right there.
Happy birthday. Rock climbing. We'll see you there. Some wings from Mully, sweet chili, sriracha bourbon, dipping sauces. That's my birthday present to you.
You got a thumbs up. That's about the best you can do for me.
We'll take it.
See ya, kiddo.
What a great moment there for the Stewartville Tigers senior class. And we're going to see Peyton English take this kickoff with 9:11 to go in the 3rd quarter. We still have 21 game minutes left here, Coach.
Yeah, I think eventually the refs are going to offer up a running clock here. Obviously, Red Wings' health for the rest of the season is something they need to consider.
And there's a big return by Wiles. Oh, my gosh, Peyton English just destroyed him on the sideline. And a flag came out. Did he step out a few yards? That's the only thing that potentially could have happened. But, boy, did Peyton English lay the wood there.
Well, Peyton English is going to be one of those names that we just hear more and more of over the next couple years, similar to Zeke Spencer, just how we kind of see him as a sophomore making flash plays, and then we're going to see him on the field regularly next year, and he's going to be making many, many splash plays.
I would
He's
imagine.
a darn good football player.
I would imagine that with Justice Dino graduating, he would slide into potentially one of the linebacker positions. Zeke Spencer's one.
Yep.
Mickey Height on the other side,
Yep.
both juniors. There would be an open spot. And when Coach Muller talks about Peyton English, he says, when you watch him, that guy's a football player.
Yep, for sure.
He is a football player. So we'll try to get you the lineups here as we got guys rotating in. I know on the defensive line we got Carson Goodman, Carson Jansen, I believe Tommy Lofgren's out there. I can't get you the far side. Not yet, at least. Under center, a little confusion as Kajewski runs into the new quarterback, who's Cale Anderson, and tackled for a loss. But I believe that's number 14, Colin McGill. So now Cale Anderson, number 2, the sophomore, is under center, and they're letting Kajewski play the running back position.
And for Red Wing, I mean, they have a game coming up against Lake City next week. They need to figure out, what's going to be their best plan moving forward. So these next few minutes here,
And
you can use them. You can use them to gain something, but it's also tough when you're struggling like they have tonight.
So Anderson under center, Kajewski in the backfield. They're going to pitch it out to Kajewski on the right side. Sawyer Wood doing a good job running sideline to sideline. Here comes Colin McGill, pushes him out of bounds right at about the 45-yard line. It looks like he stopped. No. Yeah, just about the 45-yard line. Great job by Sawyer Wood to stretch that one out, and then Colin McGill coming to finish it. Yeah, and the thing with Red Wing, unfortunately, with the number of injuries they had, you don't see many guys on their sideline that they can substitute in. So,
Right.
It's a little bit of a risk for guys that are starters.
Yeah, and so just again, having a little inside knowledge, I know that they did have to cancel their next week's JV game with Stewartville. So Stewartville picked up a JV game with Mankato West just because Red Wing wasn't going to be able to make that happen with.
Anderson drops back to pass. He's a lefty. He wings it out to the sideline. That one was intended for Kajewski, but falls short. It's going to be 4th down and 15, and Red Wing, I imagine, will punt this one away. Mankato West, speaking of which, big game tonight, Mankato West versus Mankato East.
Oh, is that
I
tonight?
believe it's number
Okay.
7 versus number 10.
Yeah.
East at number 7, West at number 10. There's also some other games. 1 versus 2, is it Orono versus Alexandria, maybe? Or no, Orono versus Totino Grace, 2 versus 3. And then
Well, John
There's some
Marshall
big-
was up on Owatonna 7-6 at halftime, so
You
I
are
don't know
kidding
how
me.
that is going to turn
Oh,
out
we
here
got
tonight.
time.
But that was kind of a surprise score that was shown to me during the first half. So
all right, illegal substitution here gives us time to check it out. Football. What a great app this is. Minnesota Score Feed. I don't know if you
Yeah, that's a
follow
good
this.
one, for
Oh
sure.
my goodness, it's just amazing. With they being 5-8, so Mankato West up 21-0. John Owatonna now leads 18-14
still
over John
close,
Marshall.
yep.
1 minute left in the third quarter. Oh, here it was. Alexandria versus Moorhead, 27-22. That's 5A, 1 versus 2 tonight. 8 minutes left in the third quarter. That was a big game I remember looking at. Here comes the punt. Is it Roshan is punting away, and fielding that one's number 26 for Stewartville, Karsten Rader. And he breaks a tackle. He's got some blocking out front of him. He's going to try to hit the sideline, and a flag gets thrown over here. I wonder if that's on us or.
well, you saw Karsten Rader's athleticism there and the willingness to pick up a punt, and I just feel like you got to have some courage back there when you're a punt returner and there's 2 guys coming at you. You pick it up and try to escape.
Speaking of other scores, Totino Grace versus Orono, 2 versus 3 in 4A, 11-8 was the final score.
Oh wow,
that was the final.
that is not a score you
Becker is-
usually see in a
Becker
football
is
game.
just smoking people this year, 42-0 tonight. Number 1 team in 4A.
Ugh.
Marshall 50-0. You remember when you took their hearts in Farmington? Trey Lance went home
I
crying
do.
because of your team.
Yeah,
Chai Stecker, I think he had like 3 touchdown catches.
he did, and they scored on the first play of the game from like 80 yards away, and I was just thinking, wow,
Oh,
this
no.
is going to be a long night, but it sure wasn't. It was fun.
In 3A, which is our class, some other top teams. Oh, they call it on Red Wing? Yeah, Stewartville thought it was on us. They were calling it on Red Wing, unnecessary roughness. Pequot Lakes is the number 4 team in 3A, which is our class, 65-0.
Oh, wow.
We'll give you some other scores. Waseca beating Albert Lee. Waseca, the 6th-ranked team in the state, 45-3. They're winning. Pine Island up 42-0 on PEM the start of the fourth quarter. Holy Family Catholic, the 9th-ranked team, up 37-9. Chatfield They're 2A, but they're playing Lake City. I see why they're they're up 42-6 if anybody's wondering. Fairmont. So I really think Waseca Fairmont. I think they're in the same section.
Right,
The
yes.
winner of that one's going to be a really tough matchup. But they play each other, I think, the season finale on Wednesday.
I think they do, yeah.
And Fairmont's up 49-9. Last year, I think what happened was Fairmont won the regular season game, but then Waseca won the section championship, which then vaulted Waseca to play us in the state quarterfinal game.
Well, if Waseca's healthy, that's the best team we've seen this year.
Yeah.
I have a hard time believing that, but I haven't seen Fairmont in person at all, so who knows?
Dassel Cokato, the second-ranked team, 48-14. We see a whole bunch of new guys in there. Will and Henry now paying special attention as younger brother Pete is at quarterback. Behind him, number 41, Simon Emanuel, younger brother to Haley Lewis, another legend from Tiger Nation. Split wide on the near side, Sawyer Wood. On the far side is number 3, Brody Buckmeyer. Cheddar moves Wood in motion. It's a fake jet sweep. Handoff to Simon Emanuel. He tries to piece his way through. He gets past the 20-yard line. Look at all the guys still blocking downfield. 57. Tommy Lofgren took his guy almost all the way to the goal line. I think that's another one of your throwers.
He is, yeah. And you want to talk about technique. He's got it.
So Carson Jansen. Let's get you the numbers here. 74, Carson Jansen at left tackle. 57, Tommy Lofgren at left guard. 70, 55 is on the right tackle. That's Ethan Monty. 75 maybe at center, Jacob Billings. 73, Everett Ness at right guard. There goes Wood in motion. It's a jet sweep. He's got blockers out in front of him. He cuts back to the middle of the field. Oh, we're going to get a penalty there. That's going to be brought back. And I believe that's at the spot of the foul, isn't it?
Yeah, it looked like a hold there. Well, when the scores get like this, it is fun to see these younger guys come in and get their chance to play under the lights. I know they get pretty darn excited to do it, so see if they can make some plays tonight.
So that one will be called back on Stewartville. It negates the Sawyer Wood long rush on the jet sweep, and now will be 2nd down and 17 from the Red Wing 30-yard line. We will need to get all the way down to about, let's say, the 13 to be safe for a first down. Let's see, specialists out there, number 45, Carter Dick. Tight end is at 83, it is. Cody Carlin. Matt gave me some grief. His dad, Matt, gave me some grief because I said Caitlin Carlin was my favorite Carlin. He says, am I chopped liver or what? Cheddar's going to hand that one off to Emmanuel up the middle. Nice little burst ahead as he makes it down to almost, I gets to about the 22, we'll say, and it'll make it 3rd down and 9 for the Stewartville Tigers. Stewartville up 57-0, 6:15 to go in the 3rd quarter. We still have the whole 4th quarter to go. As you'll see, Coach Muller likely keep it on the ground as much as humanly possible and milk as much clock as he can. The thing is I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Joe Conger now takes over play calling, doesn't he, when the JV's
yeah,
out
or
there?
Ramsey Miller probably
Ramsey?
does,
Sure.
yeah. And that works. I mean, it's who you're usually working with. They got the same.
Handoff to Simon Emanuel on the left side. Great job there by Wiles to run him down from the backside and drag him down. It's going to be 4th down, and I would say 5.
And then, like you said, Coach Conger will take over the defensive play calling for the second team here. So Coach Haynes' night is likely done in terms of dialing up any more defensive calls. So.
But if I know anything about this Stewartville Gold Rush program, they like to see that 0 on the board, so Darlin Bakery has to cook those donuts for Monday.
For sure, and it's passed down from the starters to everybody else that you keep that 0 on the board.
Oh, Cheddar is going to throw this one. He throws it up. That one's to Carter Dick, who makes the catch. Does he get enough for the first down? I don't think he does. What a play there. 2 in a row by Isaac Wiles, the junior. And that's going to be a turnover on downs for Stewartville. Great catch and run by Carter Dick, but better play by Isaac Wiles of Red Wing. And the Wingers will take over at their own 15-yard line, I believe. 4:57 to go. Stewartville up 57-0. Coach Aaron Meyer, Adam Peterson up here in the Dan Simmons broadcast booth, bringing you this Week 7 matchup in the Southeast Red District between the Red Wing Wingers. It's almost as tough to say as Eli Shy.
Right, I hear you.
And the Stewartville Tigers. Tigers well in control, like I said, up 57-0. In terms of future broadcasts, I would imagine if we win next, we play Lured on Wednesday. If we take care of business, I would imagine we would go into playoffs as a number 1 seed. Worst case scenario, number 2. But either way, you're hosting the first 2-round games.
Yep.
Kurt Hughes, activities director here in Stewartville, apparently has already gotten permission for Coach Meyer and I to be able to bring you that action. Section quarterfinals, section semifinals, and we'll get more after this play. I believe that's Anderson under center. He's going to hand that one right off the middle, and all sorts of pressure coming from the interior of that line, and I think Peyton English even shot the gap from his linebacker position to stop that. To be honest, 26 was walking out of that pile too, is Karsten Roeder. Is it Roeder or Raider?
Raider. Yep.
I think there is a Roeder. Is it a girls soccer player or something? Anyway, Raider. I will get better at that. Obviously, got to get better at that. He's only a sophomore. There's 2 of them, Karsten and Bram.
Yep.
Are they related?
Cousins, yeah.
Cousins.
They are cousins.
So anyway, Coach Meyer and I plan to bring you the section, if it's okay with our wives. We better ask first
We
for
should,
permission.
yep.
Section quarterfinal game, section semifinal game, which would be played here at Schaefer Field as long as we hold court and win those games. As here's a 2nd down and 11 play. They pitch it out to the side. Oh, good cutback there by Karjewski. And he makes it to the 20-yard line. We'll make it 3rd down and a long 4 to go. Unfortunately, I don't know if this news is out there yet or not, but unfortunately, I don't think we'll be able to stream the section final game. And I don't want to give too many details, but it sounds like that may be relegated to somebody else at a neutral site. Obviously, that's putting the cart well ahead of the horse. But at least we're happy that the first 2 games that we might be able to bring you here from Schaefer Field. This one, though, we're still in the 3rd quarter, 3:23 to go, with Stewartville in front. On the far side, number 50 for Stewartville, Garrett Queasley. You got 51 out there, Carson Goodman. He's got about like 6 or 7 tackles for loss this season, playing really well. That pass is good. Does he get a first down? They are going to give it to him as they move the sticks right to the 25-yard line. That ball was caught by, let me get a number as he stands up. Oh, it is Kajewski doing a little bit of everything. Brock Kajewski started out at quarterback, normally is one of their wide receivers / tight ends. Like I said, he came into this game with 14 catches for 141 yards. But with the injuries at quarterback between Adam Rowe and Calvin Nelson, he had to go under center. And, he did make some impressive plays tonight, use his athleticism. Give credit to a guy that's never taken a varsity snap at quarterback to go against the number 1 defense in the state right out of the gate.
It had to be tough and eye-opening early on when you had Lincoln Doobie and Ridge Hats just blowing through the interior to start the game.
Oh, no, handoff to Wiles there. He bobbles it, tries to pick it up as Carson Jansen wraps him up, and he's going to be tackled down for a loss of about 5 yards. I don't know if one of them, I think the quarterback almost thought it was supposed to be a pitch, and I think the running back thought it was supposed to be a handoff or vice versa.
Yeah. Well, you can see that the meshing of everything right now is just a little off, and it's understandable when we're on our 3rd or 4th quarterback. Absolutely. And then switching at half to put someone else in there. I do like watching Stewartville hustle to the ball still. It just shows that this is just a habit that they're pounding into these young athletes, that they're going to get to the ball every tackle, every play.
Anderson back to pass. He lofts that one well up in the air, wide. Oh, I was going to say wide open. I didn't see that number 15. Carson Meyer was right on his hip pocket. The flag was thrown from way over to our left side. I'm surprised because there was a ref right in that area. They're walking back, though. Well, I guess they have to walk it off if it's on us. Did they call pass interference?
I didn't see what his signal was.
It had to be. They're
It must
moving
have
the
been.
sticks already. And it was like 2nd down and 16. I don't know if they can move the sticks yet. Yeah.
I was going to say, it's not like.
So now it'll be third down and short.
Mm-hmm.
Third down and 2, a short 2, we'll call it.
So a 15-yard penalty, but still not
Replay
enough
the
for a
down.
first down.
Yeah,
Yep.
replay the down. So second down and short. So Anderson in the backfield. Next to him is Wiles. Anderson hands it off to Wiles. Carson Jansen on. Oh, big hit there. Another big hit coming from Colin McGill. That's a kid that lays the hammer when
He does.
When he's in the open field. He's looking to duck his shoulder. Right now you can see Alex Hain and I think Garrett Muller was even getting in on Carson Jansen saying, hey, like still coaching up. Still
Right.
coaching
Yep.
up. So Colin McGill coming up from that safety position. He's joined back there by Karsten Rader. On the far side, number 15, we talked about him, Carson Meyer. On the near side is Brody Buckmeyer. Those are your defensive backs. Carter Dick and Peyton English are your linebackers, as well as number 34, Shy. And we got another penalty coming. 1:30 to go in the third quarter. Stewartville up 57-0. False start on the offense. They're going to be moved back, so it'll go from third down and 3 to third down and 8. Want to give a big shout out to Coach Aaron Meyer up here doing double duty, running the camera for us and calling the game. Best color commentator in the entire district. I hope they give awards for that. If they do, I'm sure you got plenty of plaques from your coaching days. Do you keep those at home?
No.
Oh.
Well, I have. I mean, they're in the garage, so
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah, but they're not up on the mantle by any means.
Now you have to make room for all your daughter's trophies.
Yeah,
They're probably bringing those home. Anderson in the backfield with Wiles again. Third down and 8. You got 2 wide receivers on the far side, 1 on the near side. Anderson, a lefty, is going to roll out to the left. He's going to throw that one just over the reach of number 33, Eli Nordine. And it's going to be 4th down and 8, and we'll see what Coach Stinson does.
Well, I'm surprised that they didn't just go to the running clock here. Well, it looks like they finally did. Never mind. They finally started the clock and just keep it moving here.
Thanks, Bill. Don't even shut it down for TV timeouts, nothing. Just keep it running.
Whoops.
Oh. Okay, now, what, is he going to line up? He's got to report eligible, doesn't he? Oh, they're punting, sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. There was so much chaos, I didn't know what was going on. And Rader's going to take this one, go to the far sideline. And Kajewski makes him cut back to the middle of the field, and Anderson's going to bring him down at the 47-yard line as Rader is taking over the punt return responsibilities for Dylan Hoot. 18 seniors tonight, Coach Sawyer Wood, Jace Klug, Grayson Schneider, Isaac Larson, Luke Eastman, Carson Meyer, Parker Wangen, Dylan Hoot, Justice Dino, Dylan Scanlon, Leslie Kundert with the touchdown tonight, Carter Dick, Shell Lunas, Eli Riggin, our center, Lincoln Doobie, Everett Ness, Ridge Hats, Caleb Bancroft. Talk about every single guy on there has contributed
They
some
sure
way.
have. So one of the things I wanted to do, and I just never got around to it, but I wanted, knowing it was senior night, I wanted to see what their overall record was from 7th grade to 12th grade. I know Tim Malone was talking about Teagan did that, and it was just I think he only lost like maybe 4 games his whole career.
Simon Emanuel with a big run all the way down inside the 25-yard line. He's still going to the 15. He picked up another 10 yards, after he spun out of the tackle on the sideline. Simon Emanuel, I think he had like 70 yards rushing last week. I don't know if I have that written down or not.
Yeah, he's been impressive. But just to follow up on that thought, I think this group of seniors would also have just a very impressive record. I know they went undefeated as a JV team. I think they may have had a solid 9th grade season. And we're never really going for wins and losses in 7th and 8th grade.
Sure.
For at Stewartville, we just don't kind of it's just not why we're going. I mean, you're going out there to try to win, but we're also trying to learn the game of football, learn how to tackle, learn how to block. And if you win, great. If not, hopefully you're just picking up the skills and getting better as a team. So, but yeah, I mean, this group of seniors has been phenomenal, and my favorite thing might just be how they get along and cheer for each other. And we saw it with the Leslie thing. They're an impressive group. So.
Can you talk about that a little bit? That's something that I've been meaning, and I probably will at the end of the season ask Coach Muller, but some people have brought up a little bit of anxiety over the records of the middle school football teams, especially this year, ninth grade, maybe some games getting out of hand in the direction that Stewartville is not used to. We play flag football here up through, what, sixth grade, I think it is? Sixth grade, and then we move into seventh grade, so they're starting to learn the proper techniques of tackling, obviously the way that Stewartville football does things. You talked about it right there on maybe wins and losses aren't the most important thing in 7th, 8th grade. That's been the philosophy of Stewartville for quite a while, and it seems to have worked out. I mean, we're talking about 4-time state or section champions over a decade.
Yeah.
That's pretty good numbers.
Well, Adam, there's a couple teams that are dominant in 7th and 8th grade year after year after year, and it doesn't correlate to their juniors and senior season. So I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
But it's just not. It's not why you're doing it.
Yeah.
The 7th graders are putting on pads and learning to tackle for the first time ever.
Yep.
And a lot of these programs are, four seasons into tackling because they start in 3rd or 4th grade. So.
Bad snap. Pete Cheddar just jumps on that one, and so it'll be 2nd down and about 14 with the loss of the yards.
I have a lot of pride in this program. I just I bleed maroon and gold, and one of the things that I'm probably most proud of is just we stopped the tackle football in 3rd and 4th grade. We didn't stop it. It's not like we said you can't do it, but we just offered flag football and then started a culture of Saturday morning flag football, and it's teaching all the kids how to catch a ball, how to run routes, how to just understand the rules of football, and they get so much more out of it in my mind rather than just taking so many thumps and bumps on the heads and the bodies. And when you're in 3rd and 4th grade, I have a pretty strong belief that that's not necessarily the most important thing.
Run to Simon Emanuel, and he gets dragged out as somebody that's spent almost my entire life studying sports medicine, or at least some aspect of it. I appreciate the heck out of it because those are developing brains. Those you get an injury to the brain. That's not just a 21, 22-year-old guy. That's a developing brain, and how to manage that and everything. It's exponentially impactful. So. I appreciate that. Plus, you talk about this program. It's built on speed. It's built on athleticism. It's built on those things. And you're teaching that from an early age. As Pete Cheddar is in the backfield, 3rd down and 10. Emmanuel on the right side. Trips bunch to the left. It looks like a fake jet sweep. They pitch it forward. That should just be an incomplete pass. It was intended for Sawyer Wood, kind of on the same play that we saw very first play of the game to Parker Wangen, kind of a counter pass. So that's one thing I would say. I think the other thing is when we talk about like building programs, 7th and like you said, 7th and 8th grade, for a few things, you're just starting to learn the sport, the culture, things like that. The other thing that you don't want to put too much credibility in, some of these schools, when you talk about other sports, they've pulled some of their best 8th and 9th graders up to varsity.
Right.
So when you talk about like our girls basketball team, that Audrey Schindler and JC Rath and Ella Feeble, that's 8th graders are playing on varsity. And that pass is up in the air to Sawyer Wood. And he's going to bring that down as Cheddar put it in a bucket for Sawyer Wood on senior night, baby. As we got another guy in 12th grade putting 6 points on the board. What a throw there by Cheddar, and Wood ran the perfect route. 9:44 to go in the game.
Beautiful looking play there. Great pass by Cheddar, and Sawyer Wood going up to get it, scoring his own touchdown tonight.
So out to kick this one, it looks like number 28, Mario Gordon. Holding for him, number 18, Alex Anderson. So again, yes, you have the entire JV squad out there. Almost all 10th graders. Snap, the hold, kick is up. It's going to be tight to the left side, but it's in. And Stewartville now leads 64-0 with 9:44 to go. So since we have time, Coach, and I don't know what your thoughts are or if it's even appropriate to talk like this, but I know in the past when we talk about section matchups, I think back to Caledonia and the dominance that they had. Sorry, probably didn't set this camera up the best for you
No,
today.
it's all right. I know people at home might be noticing a little tilt here and there, but I'm doing my best.
That's my
getting
fault.
it.
I probably set them up bad. Here, let's take this and bring it up a little bit. Maybe rest more on the tripod. I don't know.
There you go.
Will that help you?
Yeah,
maybe?
that's a little better. There we go.
But Caledonia would oftentimes face like a Winona Cotter or something first
Sure.
round. And Winona
Yep.
Cotter, especially if they had an injury-plagued season, would then, say, hey, we're good.
Yep.
Which for both teams, to be honest with you, it was beneficial.
Right.
Winona Cotter, they aren't any more banged up in probably what, was a formality playing a Caledonia team.
Yes.
Caledonia doesn't risk injury. And I know in Wisconsin, where I grew up,
Yeah.
in Wisconsin, you have to earn your way into the playoffs, so you don't even see those types
Yeah,
of
you
games
have to
in the
have
first
a
round.
500 record or better,
Exactly,
right?
yep. And
It's actually a good
I don't-
system. And then they don't even know what class they're in until all the teams are in. Is that right? In
yeah,
Wisconsin?
that's exactly right, because they take the top however many teams in terms of, hey, these teams make the playoffs, and then they look at the
And then they
enrollment.
draw the lines, yep.
Exactly. And so that was really cool. So I have 3 nephews right now, senior, junior, freshman playing at La Crosse Logan. They're, I think, 6-1, ranked number 9 in the state, playing really well. But they already guaranteed their spot. But what I'm saying is last year for La Crosse Logan, the last game they were playing Central, it came down to that game. Hey, we win and we're in. We lose and we need this, this, and this to happen.
Oh, wow.
And it makes it like extra exciting. So
Sure.
all of a sudden Logan did drop the game to Central, but then all of a sudden the other 2 teams they needed to lose did, and they made their way to the playoffs. Where I feel like
Yeah.
sometimes here in Minnesota, it's like, well, everybody's going to make it.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I kind of allude to is like, is that maybe a better system to make the regular season a little bit more exciting? The other thing, you wonder, Red Wing is just, I mean, they got all sorts of injuries, and you don't want to see these kids injured. Right now, it's 64-0. Do you think there's a conversation that, I mean, we got another guy that's a little slow to get up. Do you think there's a conversation to be had when teams are in this position? I'm not saying Red Wing, you need to give up or anything like that, but this is a lot of injuries. They're shorthanded. I don't know. As a coach,
Yeah.
what would your thoughts be on either side of the?
Well, I don't want to. I would never tell
Yeah.
any coach what's the right thing to do,
For
because I
sure.
think you got to make your own decision.
Yeah.
But if you are in the situation where you're just decimated with injuries and you're basically putting a JV squad out there, then
Yeah.
you maybe just finish up your JV season. I know you referenced Cotter, and I know
Yeah.
they had to do that several years because they just had such low numbers. And like you said, going to play Caledonia, who hadn't lost in years, that wasn't going to happen, and they knew it. So,
Big tackle there by Jacob Billings.
but it's tough. I think, like you said, maybe the whole system needs to be reevaluated a little bit with who should be in the playoffs to start with.
Yeah, I'd like to go back and, I wouldn't do this because it would take too much time, but just go back and say, hey, how many times are there like not 4 versus 5, but significant upsets in the first round?
Yeah.
How many 1, 2, 3 seeds lose in the first round?
Yeah.
I would imagine that
It's not
number
many.
is pretty low.
Well, and then let's take this conversation a step farther, where you take section the 4A in our area. There's,
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
Big hit there by Tommy Lofgren.
But there's only 6 teams in the section. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got 2 or 3, you got a couple buys, and really it's 2 teams, and you're off to
Yes.
2 wins, and you're off to state.
Yeah.
Is that? And I don't want to say, I'm not trying to take away from their achievement,
For sure.
but it'd be nice if every section had 8 teams, and
Yep.
and you could do that if you redrew the lines, like you said, and,
Yep.
and took the top however many.
And it would create some fascinating matchups. It's not like we're looking at like right now we're looking at playoffs and already have seen out of our section, out of the 7 other teams, we play 6 of them.
Right.
The only one we don't is La Crescent.
Yep.
And so you wonder like, it feels like your regular season all over again. Where La
Yeah.
Crosse, I mean, when I look at them and who they go play, it's like they weren't even on your radar before.
Right.
So,
They got to go find some film on a
Exactly.
team they haven't
Yeah.
played.
And I think that's part of the excitement.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it would be a nice system to at least explore and just kind of look at how you can make things better. It's what we should always be doing.
So 5:57 to go. Stewartville up 64-0 in the fourth quarter. Aaron Meyer and Adam Peterson up here in the Dan Simmons broadcast booth trying to bring this one home for you. It's the final regular season game at Schaefer Field. And then we will move on to play the Rochester Lured Eagles on a short week, Wednesday. Pete Cheddar picks up the bobbled snap. He's going to try to make something of it. He probably says, heck, my one brother came from Michigan, the other one down from St. John's. I better do something for these guys. He already threw a perfect touchdown pass to Sawyer Woods, so I'm sure the two Cheddar brothers, excuse me, are happy with that.
Well, how about the fact that our viewers have kind of stayed the same through this whole thing? So
Yeah.
hats off to everybody for hanging in there with us, despite the lopsided score. Our number of viewers stays the same here.
That's one thing, the Stewartville, community support for not just football, for a lot of teams. I talked about Cassie Manorville having a little bit down year in volleyball, and I walked into their gymnasium, and I thought it was going to still be the freshman match. There were just nobody in the crowd.
Is that right?
Just nobody.
Yeah.
And you figure a Stewartville-Cassie Manorville volleyball rivalry is one of the biggest. It would almost be like Stewartville-Byron football.
Sure.
Like that is the one you circle on the map. And because it's a down year, unfortunately. Now, I guess I'm saying that as we have the number one state-ranked football team here. But in other sports, you oftentimes see, that support. I think winning also brings people to the seats. So
It does, and then the soccer game on Tuesday night here against Dover Yoda, I just know in school there was a buzz of, hey, everybody's going to the soccer game
that's
tonight.
great.
And just, the student body's pretty darn good about supporting each other.
3rd down and 2, 4:12 to go. That one's handed off to Emmanuel up the middle as he's done a great job of getting north and south on his carries tonight, and they continue to move the sticks, and I'm sure that's what Stewartville is looking at, is that golden number where you can just start kneeling it down. I don't know what it is. You think I would. I don't know if it's, I don't even want to guess. 120, you would need a first down as long as they don't take timeouts?
I don't know, but how long until we finally are good at math?
I'm just going to ask Coach Muller. Because he's figured it out. That guy, his stats,
Yeah.
some of the stats I've looked up. So he was talking about explosive plays. Last week they had 15 explosive plays against PEM, which was their highest of the season. And I said, well, Coach Meyer appreciates that because he gets really energetic in the booth with those big-time plays. And that handoff's to number 18, Alex Anderson, to the left side. But anyway, he said 15 explosive plays. And then he tells everybody, an explosive play is defined in our program as a 12-yard rush or a 16-yard pass.
Okay.
And those numbers seem completely arbitrary to me. Like, wouldn't you think it was even? Like, it's almost like the SNL skit of George Washington. I don't know if you saw it. Like,
I love that,
Oh,
yeah.
my God, that skit
Yeah.
is so funny where he's like, how are we going to measure things? Kilometers, meters? No, we're going to do this in feet.
Yes.
And
Did you see that he was back on hosting the first season, the new episode, and so they started with that skit this
did
last
they?
week and
Was
did
it
a
new
new
material?
one. Yeah, it was new
I gotta
material.
watch it then.
Yeah, you got to go back and check it out. It's pretty hilarious.
that's Brody Buckmeyer. He's got blockers out front of him. He's
There
kind
he
of picking
goes.
his way forward. Stays in bounds. That's smart. 2:40 to go in the game. Stewartville up 64-0. Yeah, it's hilarious because then he's like, "There's two." The one guy, asks him about something that was not related. He actually about building a country. And he's like, "You asked about temperature." He's like, "No, I didn't. No, I didn't." And he's like, "There's two types of temperature. There's one that everybody will use in the world, and then there's an odd one.
Yes.
We're going to use the random one." Oh, it's great.
I like how he's talking about, so we won't measure anything in meters, and he says, well, only unimportant sports like track and swimming.
Yeah. And then he said, and then we'll have a two-sided ruler. We'll have inches on one side and centimeters on the other. And Simon Emmanuel's going to take that one. Speaking of yards, he's going to take that one 14 yards for the touchdown as he lays a hit himself going into the end zone. And it's now Stewartville 70-0. But he says, yeah, inches on one side, centimeters on the other. And the other guy says, oh, so you can see where they match up? He goes, they will never match up. You guys, if you do, go out there and look. SNL George Washington skit on YouTube. You'll appreciate it. Don't leave now, though. We still have a minute 52 left. Don't dip out on our YouTube channel just yet. We appreciate you hanging in there with us as we go on complete tangents.
We're spinning the wheel of topics up here. We have had a variety of field goal kickers putting extra points through today. I don't know if we're at 5.
That's a good. I should have wrote
I
that down.
think we have 5 different guys that have kicked extra points. Which
well, you got Wangen, you got Klug, you got Kundert, you got Mario Gordon. That's 4. Wasn't there one more?
I felt like there was one more.
I thought there was one more.
I hate when I do that and then I can't remember.
Well, I should have just segued into the kickoff and just made people buy it.
Yeah, but anyway, we I don't know what the record on that would be of number of players who successfully made an extra point, but it's
I bet it's as slim as 2 Stewartville Tigers throwing a no-hitter on the same day.
yeah, probably about
Jace
the
Klug,
same
Sidney
odds.
Clark, shout out.
Same odds.
230 people watching. More importantly, 6 likes, Coach, and
There
they're
you
all
go.
for you.
How about it?
They don't show us the number of thumbs down. Appreciate that from YouTube.
7 now.
Oh, hey, thank you. So we have the kickoff here. I believe this is Peyton English. He's going to put this one deep. Number 44, Bentley Ricks, is going to field that one, and he sees a whole host of maroon and gold coming to tackle him. As this is number 28 gets the tackle. That's Mario Gordon. This is their time to shine in front of a packed house here. I think some people have started to filter out, probably beat the traffic. 1:28 to go, and the clock is running. 71-0 Stewartville. It was 44-0 at halftime. And now the game well in control after that Simon Emanuel touchdown. Puts them over to the 70 spot for the first time this season, a team that Stewartville averaging 40 points per game. The defense only allowing, less than 3 points a game? Now it's going to drop even more. I think 19 points in 7 games, so now, yes, it will be under 3. They're going to that's a nice ball. Who is that? Where's he been all night? 14, Nick Klein, the sophomore. Tight spiral there. That one was completed to Cody Roshan. 14 likes, Coach.
How about that?
Hey, speak it into existence.
There
We
you
talk
go.
about wings.
Yeah.
We got the pizza. We got likes coming in. You know what, Coach Meyer, talking to me earlier about a new car. So how's Chevrolet if you're out there listening?
Yeah. Speak it into existence.
He needs extra seats. He's got 3.
That's
3
right.
little ones.
Yep.
So make sure it's got a third row. 10 seconds to go. We'll see if Red Wing tries to air it out one more time. And they're not going to. And Stewartville is going to move their record to 7-0 behind the most dominant performance of the season tonight. 71-0 was the final score. It started out a 50-yard touchdown pass to Parker Wangen from Vince Wellick, then a 23-yard touchdown pass from Wellick to Scanlon. That made it 14-0. 32-yard field goal from Parker Wangen made it 17-0. Parker Wangen followed up on the ensuing drive with a 50-plus yard touchdown catch and run, 23-0 Tigers at that point. Luke Eastman got a pick 6, made it 30-0. 4-yard touchdown run by Malik Abdi made it 37-0. And then a 23-yard touchdown catch by Dylan Hoot made it 44-0 going into halftime. In the second half, a 15-yard touchdown catch by Jace Klug on that middle screen catch and run. The extra point was good by Leslie Kundert. That made it 51-0. Then the most electric play of the night, a 1-yard touchdown run by Leslie Kundert made it 57-0. Sawyer Wood with a touchdown catch made it 64-0. And Simon Emanuel put the stamp on it tonight late in the fourth quarter. 71-0 was the final. Coach, Stewartville moves to 7-0, going to take on Coach Kessler's Rochester Lurid Eagle team on Wednesday night in Rochester at RCTC, Rochester Regional Stadium, I guess they call it. Mm-hmm. Red Wing going to take on Lake City on Wednesday. They'll try to get their first win of the season and hopefully go into playoffs a little bit healthier. But give credit to Red Wing for coming out and competing all night, even though we know they were more than just shorthanded. Coach, what did you think about this Week 7 matchup that Stewartville took 71-0?
I mean, yeah, there was moments where we saw Red Wing making plays and doing things the right way. It just wasn't stacking up. I always talk about chopping wood or just kind of, it's the idea of knocking down a tree. Every little swing helps, and it's just there was too many blunders between the good chops of wood that they made tonight. And Stewartville, on the other hand, every play and every phase of the game was dialed in. We kind of talked about it at the beginning of the game that the last couple games there's been little lulls in the performances, but tonight just nothing. Everything was solid. Great defense. Special teams were awesome, and definitely the offense was clicking and scoring points at a season best tonight. So
Yeah.
fun game to watch. Yeah, just a good night. I don't know. As a
Yeah.
coach, you don't like these nights in terms of the scoreboard looking like it does, but it is fun when the players are enjoying it and everybody. With how many different guys scored tonight,
Yeah.
they're going to be smiling and having a good time.
Absolutely. Give Red Wing all sorts of credit. I know they're shorthanded. I also want to give Coach Stinson a big thank you for getting back to me with some name pronunciations, with some stats, and with some things that we could talk about. Always appreciate when the opposing coach takes the time to help our home broadcast out. So do want to give him a big thanks. I think Brock Kajewski, got to tip your hat to him going against the number one defense in the entire state in your first varsity start at quarterback when you're used to being one of the receivers. I thought Keegan Knutson had some great catches for Red Wing, and then Hunter Greeley also had some significant plays. Nick Klein there at the end, great pass by him, but Stewartville just too much on senior night, 71 points, highlighted by that Leslie Coonert touchdown in the second half and the extra point heard around the world. But either way, 7-0 now for Stewartville as they will go to Rochester next Wednesday, attempting to put into the record books their fourth consecutive undefeated season. But they will need to take on a talented Coach Kessler coaching staff. Always gets his boys prepared. Leward is always well prepared. They got Abe Lovely. They got Ed Lovely. They got Caleb Akin-Ballou out there. So they do have some playmakers. And like you know, high school football, anything can happen, especially when you're playing on an opponent's field.
And against a rival, right? The team that you've always had tough matchups again. There for the longest time, it was whoever was on the opposing team's field would end up being the victor. So we'll see if we can keep that going this next week.
That'll be all here at Schaefer Field one more time. Stewartville 71, Red Wing 0 from the Dan Simmons broadcast booth. For Coach Aaron Meyer, I'm Adam Peterson. I want to thank you all for tuning in to this last regular season broadcast for Stewartville football, and hopefully we'll be able to bring you some action in the playoffs as Stewartville will move on to section playoffs starting a week from Tuesday, and hopefully we'll be able to bring you this action on Stewartville activities on YouTube. That's going to do it here, though, at Schaefer Field in Tiger Nation. Stewartville with a big win to keep their undefeated record alive and heading into the final game Wednesday at Leward. We hope we can see you there. For Coach Aaron Meyer, I'm Adam Peterson. Everybody have a good night. And Dan, if you're still out there listening, I hope we made you proud.